Oh man. So the stream just started. So if you're all confused, you heard like half the intro. Yeah, I fucked that up. I fucked that up, bro. I did not hit go live.
It's because I'm not behind.
Oh,
that doing the tech directing.
That is actually exactly why. Yeah, because I'm trying to do too many fucking things at the same time. Dude, what the fuck's up, man? We come to you humbly on a Wednesday, or not a regular show day, because we just got a lot of shit going on. There's a lot of shit going on.
Yeah, literally, man.
Yeah. So Monday, 4th of July hit, and I just got back from. I got back on my flight that same day from Detroit.
Both you and O-Rain.
Yeah,
he came back too. O-Rain.
O-Rain.
Yeah, I don't know why I said it like
in
that.
the whitest possible way. O-Rain.
I was trying to emphasize. I didn't know which letter to emphasize.
Jesus Christ.
With the O.
So yeah, I just got back on a flight. Rain was coming back on the flight as well. So, and also he was coming back much later than I was. So we were just like, first we had that, and then it got to a point where I was like set on doing it, and then as the day wore on, I was just like, yeah, this ain't gonna fucking.
I was ready, man.
Yeah,
I was about to get in the car, leave work.
I get that sense. Yeah. So, but we're coming to you on a Wednesday, mostly because I need to get one show in, because next week I'm not sure if I'm going to be able, because I'm going to be in Florida. So I was like, hey, fuck it, we got to do it this week. So let's do it at least at some point this week. There's a chance I might be able to do the remote thing next week, but we'll see. We'll see. If that works. Fucking life.
Yeah,
What's
man.
going on? Yeah, we had like a fucking hour-long conversation before this podcast.
Yeah, these are good though, man. Like people always like, you wonder like, what do people talk about before the podcast? And like now we kind of, well, I mean, you and I know.
There are some people who talk about a lot. There are some people who don't talk about anything and just sit there on their phones until, oh, we're recording. Cool. All right, let's begin. You know, like I think,
I'm just here for the topics and that's it. Like nothing else.
Exactly. And I assume when you're in a more professional setting, that's probably going to be the case. Yeah. It's more of the latter. But yeah, when you're just chopping it up with your friends, of course, you're going to find your way into very unique conversations before you.
You know what's interesting, man? Like when you just said like, life.
Yeah.
So like one of the things we're going to talk about today is obviously Stranger Things. I gotta say, man, I was pissed off Friday. Not because of the show. Okay. Not because of the show, right?
You weren't able to watch the show because of life.
Because of life.
Wow.
So, yeah. You know how many hours I work. I mean, I work like 60 to 70 hours a week. So it's like we made this like very specific plan, like me, Anna, and Rachel. We are going to go ahead and sit down as a family. We're going to have dinner ready to go. We're going to put it on like 7 o'clock, because it was like, like 4 hours worth of, like 2 episodes to watch or something like that.
Yo.
Something crazy.
That shit needs
so
to come
like
with
you
a
need to
warning
plan it.
for
Like
how
you
long
have to
that
plan
shit
it,
is.
like
shit was like watching 2 Endgames.
Exactly. Well, I don't know because I haven't watched it, but I believe you. But like, get a call or actually a text message. It's like, hey, you got to go pick up so-and-so's child. I'm like, what? Like pick up somebody's child?
It doesn't sound like my child, so no.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't my child. But like, man, like you can't like not like when somebody needs their child picked up, like. And I'm like, I gotta go like
Stranger Things. I don't know what
it's exactly. We're in the upside down when I have to take care of a kid that's not my kid. But man, like I was so deflated Friday, man.
Yeah.
Because I actually had to go and like run out and get a few errands to get ready for tonight. So I'm like getting ready to go.
You thought it was all done?
I thought it was all done, ready to go.
Yeah,
and I'm and then I'm like looking at my car. My car is packed full of stuff for like yard sale stuff.
So, oh shit!
And they're like, you got to go get the baby seat. I'm like,
oh my God.
I can't do any of these things you're asking me to.
Ew.
But then the worst fucking thing happens. I was actually right here downtown doing something that I needed. So I was like, all right, we got this little kid at home. What do you guys want to eat? Like, we're not making the same food that like we normally make because this kid probably doesn't know what vegan means, So it's like,
how
what do you
old
guys
is the kid, if you don't mind me asking?
She's 5.
Okay.
Maybe 6. Something like that.
She's the age where
I mean, it's chicken nuggets all day.
fuck.
Like that's all it is.
Give her some vegan chicken nuggets.
Yeah,
so
like,
they tasted weird. All right,
I got her a premium Lord's chicken from Chick-fil-A. That's what I got.
Premium
the premium Lord's chicken.
Is that what they call it? Is that what it's called?
It's the Lord's chicken, actually. Premium
Good
Lord's
Christian
chicken.
I
Yes,
believe is
exactly. Yeah, no chicken on Sundays. Just 6 days of the week. But I get all that stuff and I order myself and Rachel food. And then I realized I got the wrong thing for Anna. So I'm like, all right, now like I'm already frustrated. I got to go out and get like stuff because I don't want her being frustrated.
Yeah.
Because our whole night was ruined
And
anyway.
I know, hey, shout out to Anna. I know how she gets with food. So,
yeah, exactly. You know. she becomes the angry elf.
Yeah,
like that's what it is.
So I know about the angry elf.
I go out there, get the other food from Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
The premium chicken strips, the Lord's chicken strips. Yeah, so the good stuff. So I get that and I'm like
chicken strips smack too, so.
Exactly. I'm waiting there in line. I text her and I'm like, "Hey, like get my vegan cheesesteak into the oven." This is what pissed me off. I got the wrong thing. I wasn't paying attention when I ordered it. I didn't check it at Johnny Rad's. They gave me a regular cheesesteak, the same one that you had a couple weeks ago. They didn't tell me that. They waited until I got all the way home.
Oh, and then told you, we actually gave you actual steak?
Well, no, it wasn't like the store. It was Anna and Rachel. They were supposed to put it in the air fryer to warm it up. And I had like a 10-minute like gap where I could have went and gotten myself other food because we just didn't have any food to eat like ready made.
Yeah.
I get home, they're like, "Hey, you might want to check this steak because doesn't look like it's vegan, food." And I'm like, "Yo, why couldn't you have let me know while I was next to all the places that I could have gotten?"
In their defense, they might have had a child that they looking at.
There's two of them. There's two of them, one child. You can make a text or a phone call. Like, you know what I said? I looked at the food. I said, I'm gonna eat my my cashew mozzarella sticks, and I'm gonna go to work. Like that's what I did that night. I said, screw it, no Stranger Things, nothing. I was pissed off.
Stranger Things was ruined for them.
Yeah, it was.
When did you guys end up watching?
Next day.
The next the morning
because I worked the extra 4 hours, so I made up for it. For the next day.
That's hilarious. That sucks.
Life, man. That's just life.
Yeah,
man.
I watched it on a flight back from Detroit is when I watched.
Did you save it on like your phone?
Yeah, downloaded it from Netflix, and it was a perfect amount of time because that's exactly how long the direct flight from Detroit was to Baltimore.
4 hours?
No. I'm sorry. I neglected to say it. Yeah, the first episode.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. No, episode I think 8.
Right? What did you take Spirit and make 8 stops?
I mean, it's possible. That's what I was going to do. I paid a little extra to be like, man, fuck that. But yeah, so I watched the first episode on the flight back, and it was literally like an hour and 20 some odd minutes for the episode, and that's literally exactly what the flight was. So it matched up perfectly. And then I landed and I got home, and then I was deciding, should I just knock this out now, or should I take a little nap? Fuck it, watch it now. And I was working off of maybe 3-4 hours of sleep. And I wasn't really tired, so I watched it.
So you watched part 2 that has 2.5 hours.
Yeah, for sure.
One episode. Man.
It was a struggle. I'm not gonna lie. It was a struggle.
I
I was struggle busting it, but
actually, we'll obviously get to that in the A block. But question, honest question, before we get into
from the hip.
Yeah, infotainment on the plane or your own downloads? What do you prefer?
I don't know what the fuck you're saying.
The little TVs and the airplane, the screen.
Fuck no, I'm not watching that shit.
Yeah.
No.
I tried that flying to France,
Get
man.
the fuck out of here. I know other people are like, oh yeah, I watch, they'll have some movie on there that fuck all that. They have shit on that.
I learned that, man. Flying to France. It was
to France? How many hours is that?
That was almost 8 hours.
What are you doing?
Yeah, it was bad, man.
You gotta plot that shit out ahead of time.
But you know what? I was like, I haven't seen The Dark Knight. They had it, or the most recent Batman movie. And I was Batman, like, you know what? Yeah, 3.5 hours. Yeah, cut some time down. But it's not the same watching it on that tiny little thing now. No. On the flight back, I downloaded
get that shit on the iPad.
Yeah, I had it all on here.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Shout out to Netflix for letting us download stuff. That's nice.
Fuck them. No.
Whoever.
It's always fuck Netflix, right? Simply because
the price hikes.
The
price hikes.
The price hikes, and also too, they start limiting sharing passwords and shit. Fuck you guys. This is the shit that's. I don't fucking know. No,
I know they're announcing.
I don't share my
testing
passwords.
It in Ecuador. The people in Ecuador are suffering.
Fuck these people in Ecuador, right? That's what Netflix is saying. Is fuck Ecuadorians. Test all the shit out on them, right? Yeah, they're basically just like any other U.S. company, which is just test it out on the foreigners first, and then we'll bring it to the good old America.
I will say this though, man. The flight to the U.S. when we immigrated. Mm-hmm. It was before the infotainment seats themselves had it. It was just that one big screen.
That folded down. Yeah.
We watched the full Monty or something like that. Monty, yeah, with Mel Gibson.
Sure.
And I think it was Millennium. Was it called Millennium?
I don't know what the fuck you're saying.
Who was that? It was Catherine Zeta-Jones and the older white gentleman.
Sean Connery.
What was it
no,
called?
it wasn't called Millennium. It was called fucking Entrapment.
Entrapment. Yeah, it just happened the year 2000. And
Yeah,
it's the Millennium, man.
What?
Yeah, that was all right. I didn't understand nothing. It was all in English. I didn't speak English.
You're talking pre-options, all right?
Exactly.
I have fucking options now, right? I don't have to fucking suffer through this shit and whatever shit movie you guys put on your fucking
unless you fly Spirit, where you get no infotainment system.
Which is why I got
a roller coaster ride.
I got used to it. And honestly, Spirit, you're either going to take eight connecting flights, or your flight's going to be canceled. Something's going to happen that's fucked up, right? So you got to be well prepared.
Which makes a $59 one-way ticket worth.
No, dude, let me give you some game right here. Okay, a week out, right? You got to first you got to realize, okay, how long's the flight, right? Okay. What am I doing, for the flight?
We got like 2 hours.
Whether it's a flight or whether it's you're driving, whatever your form of transportation, Wi-Fi might be a little shaky. The fucking, your bars might be a little shaky, in terms of just signal overall. All right, you got to plot this shit out.
T-Mobile,
right?
I never got signal.
Yeah, that's fair enough, right? You're already used to it fucking up. So a week out, right? You got to plot it out. Mm-hmm. How long is it going to take for this thing, right? And then you gotta do some calculations now. You got to figure out how many things you can download, right? That will fill up the entire time. Because what you don't want to do is do something stupid, like only download like one thing. Right. And then that thing's done and you're like, oh, well, I want to read. And then you read for like 20 minutes and you're just like, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to do literally anything else but that, right? And then you're stuck now because you didn't fucking download more shit. You got to download everything you fucking need. Then you got to figure out power, right? Not only do you have to have full power to start your fucking day, whether, I don't know if when your flight's going to go, you got to take full power. But then you got to think about backup power too, because what if you fucking drain your juice?
Hold on. You don't travel without battery packs, right?
There's some crazy there's some psychopaths out there, Addy.
I got one in my pocket
that
right now.
That are listening to this podcast right now who fucking don't own
on 2% battery.
On 2% right now, saying I can't listen to the rest of the podcast because I don't have extra power. You fucking psychopaths. This is 2022, the year of our fucking Lord.
And to be fair to them, they wasted like 50% while we were an hour late.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, they were watching some other shit while they were getting ready for us. But anyways, you got to plot this shit out, man. I've been on many trips where I've been stranded and I didn't have anything to fucking watch, nothing to do, and one thing I don't want to do is be left alone with my thoughts. That is the one thing I don't want to do. But no
gummies, nothing like that on a flight. Yo, it's a different experience being high as fuck on a flight.
No, I can't do that, dude. I can't. I would be so fucking paranoid. It would be unreasonable how paranoid I would be.
My contractor a gummy. I told him to take half.
Yeah, he took the whole.
Damn,
she'll listen to Drake.
Yo, it was hilarious the way he was describing it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's yo. Some people can't be fucking with you with gummies, man. You are not the person to be fucking with gummies because your tolerance is not.
It's been like 2.5 years into it. I'm good now, but I also know my limits.
Try to fucking sound like Frank Lucas.
We were watching. What were we watching? Oh shit, we were watching couples therapy, and I had taken 2.
What is wrong with you?
Yeah, like 50 milligrams.
It was
just 50
total.
milligrams total.
Okay,
yeah, 50 milligrams
total.
Doing, yo, like it like started hitting when that first guy started talking about like, I'm leaving to Italy, and then I want you to like do all these weird things to me. Yo, I had this like weird ass thought that it's like me sitting there talking to her.
I'm going to Italy.
Or else I'm going to Italy.
yeah. I can't.
It was a night that night.
Because look, all right. So keeping it a buck, right? My partner right now is out of town. I'm left alone.
Tonight.
Fuck no. Gotcha. So I've been thinking, should I spark it up? It's been a minute since I sparked up. I was like, nah, I'm good, man.
Yeah, but that's a different kind of high though. Like that's more of a body high.
Yeah, my brain apparently can't tell the difference. My brain is just like something's different, and I'm just gonna spaz the fuck out right now, right? That's the way my brain processes me being high. It doesn't like because at first it was before that shit you gave me. I was cool as a fucking cucumber, dude. And it was all hitting well,
man.
right? It was all hitting well.
You
And
make
then
me sound like a druggie.
then
Like I'm mixing fentanyl.
then I
with it, like,
can't even pronounce it right. I know you're taking fentanyl. And then I had that shit you gave me, and I've been fucked up ever since. It's like Smokey, right? In Friday,
Oh, yeah.
you know, Smokey is like, man, they gave me some
We're running
fucking
around.
PCP or whatever the fuck they gave him, and he's fucking in a chicken coop, fucking stressed the fuck out, you know. That's how I fucking felt, dude.
Smokey.
Let's start this shit, man. Let's get into some this week, next week shit. Let's talk about some movies that are coming out. Let's talk about just one particular movie. Thor: Love and Thunder is dropping this particular week. I've gone out of my way to not read or hear about the reviews for this. In my mind, there is just no ways, and I know how you feel about Marvel, so you know I can get ahead of whatever it is that you're about to say. But there is just no way this movie, in my mind, can be that good. Like, it can't be better than Ragnarok. I don't know if you ever watched Thor.
No, I haven't watched it, but
Okay.
I was watching that episode. You and Rain reviewed the trailer for it.
Yeah.
And just based on that trailer, like, I don't know. You can tell me. It just seemed like they were trying way too hard to go into a comedy angle that just, to me, wasn't working.
Just
from
with
the trailer.
Thor Ragnarok, they kind of leaned into the comedy aspect of it. And I think it made it better. It made because when you try to have like a serious Thor, it just comes across as kind of just silly. I guess a bit. But then when they kind of introduced it in terms of like we've got more comedic angle to it, it made it much more palatable. Now I feel like they may have gone too far in that direction.
That's what it feels like, and I haven't even watched Ragnarok or whatever it's called.
Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. I hold my judgment until after I've seen the movie. But yeah, I just, in my mind, I don't know. It'll be hard for this to be a good movie. At least in my mind. Maybe, whoops.
So Rain is definitely
Did my mic drop out here? All right. It dropped off for a sec. It's back now.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, that means Rain's gonna love it.
Probably. Yeah, I would assume. Yeah. Let's jump into some headlines here. There's like one thing that I've been kind of thinking about here. Did you ever watch Smallville?
Yeah.
Did you watch like the whole thing?
No, like 4 seasons tops.
Fair enough. You'll get this conversation then. So there's this interesting article that I saw, and I read the article, and it really didn't. The title to the article got me thinking way more than the actual article itself. It was basically how Smallville reinvented the Superman and Lex Luthor dynamic. Basically, we think of pre-Smallville, we just thought of Lex Luthor and Superman as like, oh, there's just nemesis, and the ultimate villain versus the ultimate hero, right? But Smallville kind of gave us a lot more flavoring and context to that relationship that I didn't really realize I appreciated until literally reading this article headline, and I was like, yo. At least for the first few seasons of Smallville, that was a really fucking interesting relationship. Yeah. Like, it carried the series more than Clark and Lana, more than Clark and Chloe, more than Clark and Pete for the first 3 seasons when he was there, more than Clark and his parents. The clearly the relationship that carried that show was Clark and Lex, and what I loved about it was that they had this sort of neither of them was like the good guy. Neither of them was really the bad guy. Obviously, Lex would end up being the bad guy, and Clark would end up being the good guy. Yada yada. But as you sort of investigate their relationship, you're like, yo, wouldn't you fucking go crazy too if you knew your friend was hiding some shit and they just went out of their way to fucking constantly hide that shit from you, even though you knew they're fucking hiding some shit. And you're just supposed to fucking play along like a fucking idiot and be like, all right, well, fine. I guess you're not fucking running at the speed of light when somebody fucking shoots you and you don't die. I'm supposed to just believe like everything's chill and everything's normal, right? And you're telling me, nah, man, everything's good. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I just saw you jump from one building to another. What the fuck do you mean nothing's wrong?
Yeah, dude, like that relationship carried from episode to episode.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just like a build up to the end and then you find out or there's a revelation. Yeah. It was episode to episode. Yeah. It was WB, right?
For part of the time.
That's what it was called.
The CW.
The CW, yeah, man. That was like one of the few channels that when you plug your TV into the back, you automatically had it. Yeah. That was a good show, man.
I don't know if I would go as far as to say a good show.
Sure it was. When you had absolutely nothing else to watch, what you gonna watch? Ally McBeal reruns on the WB?
Maybe.
Like, come on, man.
Fuck. If I wasn't the age that I was when Smallville came out, there is just no, like, if I were to try to watch Small, if they just started Smallville now, there is just no godly way that I would stick with that show any more than like 3 episodes, and I'm like, I'm out of here.
That was like middle school when I started watching it, I think, man.
Yeah, it was just at the cusp of high school for me when it first started. Like, I literally remember watching the first episode, like, what the fuck is it? I didn't even know what it was when I first started watching it. I was like, yo, this dude kind of seemed like Superman-ish right now. Like, he's doing some Superman kind of things.
Like Smallville, like you were in Corley.
No, I didn't.
Like,
but
for me, before I even like,
but I didn't even know the
show.
name of the show. I literally can remember the exact episode in the night. It was the episode where the dude was like working in some sort of like factory or some shit. And then he was like doing the whole shaking thing where his whole thing was like that he just shakes a lot, you know, which I'm sure people with fucking like epilepsy or some shit are like, you son of a fucking bitch. If that episode came out now, people would definitely be like, yo, you can't be making fun of fucking people with like, you know, shakes like this. Different time. Anyways, so
what did the article specifically say though?
So basically, it kind of just went through. It kind of talked about more of like kind of like the surface type of situation where they just were like, at first they had, because I remember there was like the whole storyline of them. It was like the Native American sort of like lore that, oh man, they're supposed to be, you know, this guy's supposed to be good, this guy's supposed to be bad, and so and then he kind of spent the time just rehashing like all of that shit. As well as just like different like phases, but in my mind, the conversation is a lot deeper in terms of that. By the time you get to a certain point with the show, I think after a while it was just they just kept repeating shit and it just got more and more outlandish and weird and stupid. But I think for like maybe the first like 4 or 5 seasons, you really do get why that they would end up having this sort of contentious relationship of just like. Lex always and there was like they had one beautiful storyline where literally Lex ends up in like a fucking mental institution and Clark basically lets him get lobotomized because he doesn't want people to like know his secret. And then at that point you're like, yo, this guy Clark's a piece of shit. A little bit of a piece of shit, you know, like instead of just telling his friend the truth, and I guess maybe now that I'm remembering it's kind of like I guess because he told him or some shit like that, the reason why he. And I don't know. I forget exactly what the fuck how it fucking went, but I just remember coming away with the feeling that at times I was just like, "Yo, Clark, yo, it's been 9 seasons, dude. Just go ahead and fucking tell Lana what the fuck's going on here. They fucking know, all right? Something's up. It's like doing drugs, right? It's like, all right, fam. I think you're fucking, you know, you're fucking tweaking, doing all this fucking crazy shit. You're doing the jitters, you know." You're probably on crack, dude. All right, we know. All right, just fucking tell us, you know. And that's how I felt about Clark after some time, which is just like, yo, fam, just I understand that you're trying to guard your secret, you're trying to protect it, and you know, there are a lot of implications, but at the same time, it's like you're doing not just yourself, but these other people a disservice by hiding the secret from them. And I always thought that was a unique aspect to the relationship that I thought. No other show really kind of tackled that way when it comes to like superheroes in terms of, at least in that depth. They did it pretty in depth. For as surface as a lot of Smallville's content was, that was one thing that I thought was just like a really sort of unique and nuanced aspect to the show. So anyway, so I saw that headline and I thought that's a really interesting way to sort of reprocess the show. Because I'm telling you right now, I haven't went back and tried to like kind of like watch the show. It's unwatchable. I can't do it, dude. I cannot do it. And this is from somebody who's like nostalgic about like old shit. I simply cannot go back and watch like Small because it's so fucking stupid. It's so dumb. I'd be lying
if I said that I've gone back and
it's so dumb.
Like, especially because I don't have cable. Like I was at my brother's house not too long ago and he's got cable. And I actually was just flipping through it.
And don't talk bad about us people with cable.
Hey, look. To each his own. You guys are stuck in the Stone Ages, whatever.
We're probably still paying the same amount.
It's cool. You know, Mr. I don't carry a battery pack, whatever. That's cool.
They're the same people. But I carry a battery pack. I just want to let everybody know.
Man. I tried watching it. And you're right. It doesn't have that same feel anymore. No. But you are right, though. When that came out, that relationship
was hot.
Like, you literally weren't picking sides. You were just kind of like, okay,
I think the assumption was that you would pick obviously Clark over Lex, right?
Yeah, but the writing though, they did it in such a good way to where like you did feel each character's point.
You understood.
Yeah,
You understood
yeah.
that, hey, this dude Clark's kind of a piece of shit a little
Yeah.
bit. You know what I mean? Like we're going on like 12 seasons here, and he's just like, I don't know, guys. Like,
Yep.
Sometimes I just dip out, without you seeing me what exit I went through. Sometimes I
Right.
just disappear, it just happens.
You imagine having that kind of a friend.
I wouldn't.
Every Friday night you go to the bar and he just
I
dips out an hour
set him
into
up.
it.
I set him up so many times, dude. I'd put shit in his way so he clearly trips over it. You know what I
Maybe
mean?
one of those backpacks with a tail,
Yeah,
just hold
yo,
on to
fucking
it.
slip a little fucking tracker in his pocket or some shit. Like, yeah, let's see this shit.
9 seasons, man. That's,
yeah.
Think about it, 10 years.
Yeah, the show went on 10 seasons.
Yeah. So 10 years.
Wait, did it go on 10 or 11? I don't know why I can't remember this.
Good question. I watched up to like season 4, so I don't know. But man, yo,
I watched them all. I'm not gonna lie.
If a friend did that 10 years going,
nah, fuck that.
why the fuck are you friends with?
Exactly.
Man?
Well,
Come on.
again, so we get to the end and we're like, all right. I mean, I see exactly what the fuck Lex talking about, because that's some fucked up shit. But anyways, I thought that was a interesting
definitely
way to sort of process things. So the Buzz Lightyear conversation somehow is still living on, right? So there have been a lot of people who've come out lately, especially people who've been tied to the Toy Story franchise altogether, who have been very disappointed that Tim Allen was not chosen to return as Buzz Lightyear. I don't know if it's just me. It might just be me. It truly might. And I'm okay with being in the minority here. I'm very used to it. But the reason why I'm very confused by this whole situation is I don't understand why people care.
Yeah.
Like, I guess if you want Tim Allen to get a payday, you're like, all right, I guess you need a bag in your pocket.
Allen need a payday.
I really don't think so. I think he's still fucking living off his home improvement
that's
fucking residuals.
on TV all the time.
Perfectly fine, this guy Tim Allen, right?
I don't watch.
So it's not money. Yeah. I guess it's the respect thing. But then I'm like, it's fucking Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, seriously,
who fucking cares? Like, it's not that fucking serious. Like, he's got other shit going on. It's Chris Evans doing it. So my thought was they're depicting like a younger Buzz Lightyear. So I was like, okay, maybe they just want a younger voice in there. Even if that's not the case, again, who the fuck gives a shit?
No, but who's actually like caring about this? It's got to be older folks that watched the original, right?
So it's people who are involved. So let me give you an example. Tom Hanks recently just came out and was like, he would have wanted Tim Allen to keep the role of, and that makes sense because Tom Hanks is who played or who voiced Woody. Yeah. So they all did it together, and there was like somebody, I think it might have been like Sigourney Weaver or somebody else who was involved in the original, I think, franchise, came out and said, oh yeah, like, I would have wanted Tim Allen to remain. So I think all these people are coming out in support of Tim Allen because I think Tim Allen's making a little bit of noise of like, hey, I don't think people wanted me to do this because of like my politics and that they don't like me for that reason. So that's why they recast me. But I'm like, dude, it's been like fucking like 30 years since like Toy Story, right? I like forgive them.
What are Tim Allen's politics? Like, I'm assuming
he's
right-wing
conservative
leaning,
dude who's just like, everybody's too sensitive, cancel culture, something CRT. I don't know if he said CRT, right? But definitely like, he's definitely like, everybody's too sensitive, yada yada, the same shit you would predict every old white dude would be on board for. So my whole reason for even mentioning this was, why the fuck do people care? I don't get it. And I don't know, like, I guess I'm talking about it now, so maybe I'm, part of those people as well, but I just don't understand it. I don't get why this is that big of a deal. Like, they had a role, they recast the role because they went younger for the role, and it makes sense for the actual movie itself. Now you could argue that Tim, like, doesn't take much to fucking de-age Tim Allen's voice to make him sound like a younger, I guess, Buzz Lightyear. It's not really that serious. But also, who gives a shit?
Yeah, seriously,
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. It people don't understand, like, recasting happens like all the time for everything. I mean, I remember just watching some recently where they were explaining how I don't know who it was, but somebody else was casted as Marty McFly. It wasn't what was his name? Fox, Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
It wasn't him. It was some other guy, and everybody loved that guy. It's just he couldn't ride a skateboard. That was like a big thing. He just couldn't ride a skateboard, couldn't make it look real.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, we're just gonna recast it. Like, really cares?
Yeah.
Is the movie good? Did you like it? If not, did you like it specifically because you didn't hear the type of voice that you wanted to hear? Who gives a shit? It's a kid's movie.
Yeah, because
adults can still enjoy it.
Well, what I'm trying to think now is like of a cartoon that I really enjoyed. Would I really be like, so for instance, if Rick and Morty, right? If Dan Harmon didn't voice, and I think he does both, if I'm not mistaken, both Rick and I think Morty.
A lot of times they do that. Yeah.
Yeah, or Seth MacFarlane if he didn't voice, fucking.
Yeah, but how many people can do Peter Griffin's voice?
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't miss a beat.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, so you think nothing would really change if they recast? I think so.
No,
I think that would sound massively
if the writers
different.
and everything is still the same.
No, I think this Peter Griffin has a pretty fucking unique voice.
He does, and everybody does that voice.
I don't know if I could do the
voice. I ain't doing it. It's not me, but there's others.
Yeah, so they just wouldn't hire Addie as I guess the moral answer. So maybe I don't know. Maybe I guess the people who have a strong relationship with Toy Story. I guess I'm saying this because I don't have a strong relationship with Toy Story.
It must be like a nostalgic thing for them, where it's like they associate Toy Story with Tim Allen. And it's from what you're saying, it sounds more like it's just people involved in the project and maybe just more people in the profession. Because
I'm pretty sure there's people like online and shit, just like fans.
I mean, I'm sure, but to me, like I haven't like in my circles, in my feeds, I haven't
circles.
like
You got one fucking circle.
Like 3 people, okay, 3. And I met Friday. I met a little girl. You know, she's part of the clique now, so it's cool.
This guy,
nah, dude, man, who gives a shit?
Yeah,
it's
I was I've been playing Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, which is it's just like a video game, and it basically just takes you through the whole DBZ sagas. And I was thinking to myself, like, does it really fucking matter to me that these characters don't really sound like how they sounded on the show? But then again, I didn't fucking know who the fuck voiced them. But I don't know. What I'm trying to get to is I think it really just matters in terms of your relation to the content. Right. So like if you really are that invested in content, then it fucking matters to you. The point in the example is any Star Wars fan ever. They are so fickle about just the littlest fucking things. This lightsaber didn't glow like the other lightsabers glowed or some shit. And I'm not talking to you. Shout out to Dan. I'm not talking about you. You're a pretty fucking chill fan. But there are very unreasonable like.
Why did you have to like specifically?
Because Dan's my man, and I know, like, you know, he there's a good chance he might listen to this. Yeah, he might listen to this. So I gotta shout out to Dan. And Dan's a pretty prominent Star Wars fan, but a reasonable fan that doesn't seem to get too bent out of shape about very like minor things that I think a lot of people online seem to fucking just
like I've told you before, man. Like I love the Back to the Future movies. I love all 3 of them. Yeah. They recasted his girlfriend.
Wait, I'm sorry. You said the Future
movies. They recasted her. She had like some family stuff going on.
She had just 4 lines in
the first movie. Yeah, really, but she would have had bigger.
But it does. I'm not gonna lie to you, but that does kind of annoy me though. Every time I go back, I'm like, I know that you just recasted this fucking. It's like any soap opera that recast a character.
Personally, does not. Well, okay, soap opera different because you can recast and be like, that's plastic surgery that we just did on her, and everybody will just have
there's
to
a reason.
It.
That's always the reson. It's like they just had some work done, you know.
Exactly. But no, to me, like I still watch the movies. I enjoy them. I don't care.
Yeah. So I would kind of liken it to something along those lines, that if you really enjoyed the content, then, and I was watching something recently, and again I think it was this guy Jared Bauer, who used to be with Wisecrack. He was talking about how like, and he was talking I think specifically about Star Wars fans, and he was talking about how like the reason why like I guess he was proposing that they were kind of like so toxic is because there was like because they were like really deep fans to begin with. It's like anything that kind of messes with your idealized version of what that content is like a fucking cancer to you. So like the reason why a lot of these fans get so bent out of shape about like something changing about the series is because they were such fans to begin with that they feel like they have like sort of like an ownership over it of like, okay, you guys need our permission in order for this thing to change. And then even like, and also too, there's no satisfying that either, right? Because it's like unless because even when you give them what they want, they're still like frustrated. Oh, you didn't make this exactly the way that I wanted it, and it wasn't exact. And it's just like it's a never ending fucking thing, which is actually why I actually like what they're doing with Star Wars in terms of doing whatever the fuck they want to do. They're like, okay, we'll just give you all the nostalgia shit. Okay, you don't like that? We don't care. We'll still give it to you.
Like a little bit of a deja vu. I feel like we've had this conversation, about something else where people are just like taking ownership and saying, nah, like you got to do it this way because like.
Well, I think either about Star Wars, any like
it might have been
mainstream
Star Wars,
franchise. Yeah, we've probably had the same conversation where people just feel like an ownership of the thing itself, because they've been fans for years of it.
Didn't they make a Toy Story not too long ago before this one that just wasn't good at all?
I think not too much in the recent past.
I mean, like within like last 10 years or something.
I think so. It was Toy Story 4.
And
like, I didn't watch it, so I couldn't tell you. I basically stopped.
I vaguely remember people like talking like how it just was not good at all.
Yeah, and you know maybe I'm
like how you butthurt Tim Allen. Like it's like this one is somewhat successful. It seems like people seem to like it. So
I don't know if it is somewhat successful, but
what's the box office say?
I don't know. I'm not.
Is it in theaters?
I'm not. Well, I'm pretty sure it's still in theaters now. I'm not putting the effort into looking. Anyways,
not in Saudi Arabia.
Definitely not. Those dudes are mad. Two women kissing.
I just want to say, somebody in Saudi Arabia had to watch that movie to see two same-sex couples kissing. So
they just hear about it, right? That's how frivolous it is. I know they definitely did watch it. Yo, everybody who's banning that, like, definitely fucking got the bootleg copy and is watching it at home, like, right now.
Absolutely.
Screening it for friends.
Absolutely, man.
Oh,
look at what these Americans watch.
Yeah, ugh, disgusting.
Like side eye open.
Turning the volume up, like, disgusting. Man. I can't believe they would watch this. Let's rewind it. Let's watch it again.
That is funny. You know that is absolutely what they're doing.
All right, so two things about Stranger Things before we jump into the conversation about Stranger Things, because that is eventually where this conversation is going. So one thing about it, basically, we're coming up here on the end of the Duffer Brothers saga of Stranger Things, at least this iteration of it. I'm sure we're going to get some spinoffs. I'm sure we're going to do. So the question remains, what are they going to do when the show ends? Because they basically have been or are a hot commodity, just like anybody is with a very popular TV show, right? They're doing a lot of things, man. So they're launching basically, I guess, I don't know, production, company or whatever the case is. So it's called Upside Down Pictures. So let me read a little bit of this article from Deadline. So borrowing the company name from their Juggernaut series, the Duffer Brothers will continue to lean to the formula that has been propulsive force in Stranger Things. The Duffer Brothers said the new company will be guided by the goal to create the kind of stories that inspired them growing up, stories that take place, and this is a quote directly from them, stories that take place at that beautiful crossroads where the ordinary meets the extraordinary, where big spectacle coexists with intimate character work, where heart wins out over cynicism. How I read that is basically they just are going to keep doing 80 shit.
Yeah,
they're just going to recycle it. Yeah, that's how I read that. Basically, they're just going to repeat what they had with Stranger Things. But do them. I guess they have a niche, So it's like, and honestly, not really that many people are serving that same niche. I think people borrow from the aesthetic.
Yeah, of
course. A little bit of the aesthetic from some of the 80s shit. But I don't think nobody's gone as far as the Duffer Brothers go, which is basically just like submerge yourself in just all that nostalgic 80s shit. And it's smart too, because I was thinking about this lately. Is that like that's really a fucking smart thing to do, because the people who will appreciate that are in their prime earning years. Yeah. So they will spend money on all that shit, right? So it's just like you keep giving them that, serving that dopamine they get every time they fucking watch something that reminds them of, something when they grew up.
It's that, man, and then bringing your kids into it. And if your kids love it too, it's like, man, you're just going to keep spending money.
Kids like it, don't like it. You're like, I don't care. Just go into your room.
I'm just saying though, man, that's another stream right there of money just flowing into them.
You're like, go into your room, watch more Degrassi, whatever the fuck you kids are watching. Whatever you kids are watching these days. And I will stick with this 80 shit.
Jeez, I haven't heard that in a while. Degrassi.
I never. The only reason why I know of Degrassi is because Drake and my little sister used to watch it because that was more of her time than mine. and I just never understood. I was like, well, why? I was like, I don't care. I didn't even ask questions. I don't care about this.
You watch Smallville. It's cool.
Yeah, I was too jilted from Smallville to really turn my attention. I was like, this show is garbage. I'm never watching a tween show ever again. So they're doing a lot of things, man. And then they're also doing a Stranger Things spinoff. As well as actually, I don't think they're actually involved in the Stranger Things spinoff, unless I'm mistaken about that. But they are doing I guess they're doing a manga series, or a series from a manga property, which is called Death Note. I don't know anything about that, but apparently it's a thing. But long story short, they're doing a lot of shit. So shout out to the Duffer Brothers for not letting things kind of run dry there. And I kind of liken them to the dudes who created Game of Thrones, because basically they had their pick of projects. Now I think their project actually got canned because it was like, remember, it was like the shit that basically, like, what if the South had actually won the Civil War or some shit like that? Yeah. And it's just like, people were just like, no, we're not doing that. Yeah,
we're
not doing that.
We're pretty much living it. So
although I would argue that would have been interesting. No, we're definitely not living that, dude. We're definitely not living that.
Some people want to live it.
Yeah, exactly. We're dealing with people trying to fucking cosplay it. But we're definitely not living through if the South actually won. That would be an entirely fucking different scenario. But anyways, so
hold up on that point real quick.
Yeah.
So that's a little intriguing to me now, because Amazon did that with The Man in the High Castle.
Exactly, which is why I never understood why everybody was like fucking freaking out over this.
Handmaid's Tale, kind of, not necessarily like in that vein.
But I think
like
it was explicitly about slavery, though,
right?
Which is what I think was the sticking point there. That as soon as they were like, well, what if slavery was just still a thing, and then everybody's like, no.
I've had an idea for a reality show that I wanted to pitch
what
forever.
What racist shit are you about to say?
No, it's. I think it'd be a cool idea. Like, it would be
comes out of your mouth next.
No. Listen. Picture this. Like, you have a crew of people who have a lot of hidden cameras set up. Some sort of like suburban like place, or not the suburban, but like country ass place that like is just off the beaten path, and you bring in these quote unquote like white supremacists that like are either in the shadows or maybe even not in the shadows, and you convince them that, hey, like, we've actually brought slavery back, and like show them like people in fields working, getting slaughtered, to see their actual reaction, almost like a what would you do if that ABC show that they had, where like you put people in like situations like, are you gonna react to this? Like, I would love to see people's reactions, like to see like, would you actually be like, yeah, like, I'm down with that. We need like, how do we expand this? Can we like monopolize this? Like, or would they like retreat, be like, wait, hold on a second, that's not exactly what we wanted. We just wanted them to go back to Africa. We don't want that.
So my problem with that is that you would have to do that not with just like random people, but with like business executives, and they would never let that see the light of day. They would never let that.
Somebody's going.
They would never let that footage see the light of day.
The guy who did that lie detector show, you remember that?
The lie detector show.
Yeah, it was one where they asked
Chris Hansen.
No. This was a very specific show. It might have been on Fox or something.
Lie detector show.
I forgot what it was called, but basically they asked a very one famous lady. Her and her husband were on it, and she was the one who was being asked the questions beforehand. She had the lie detector hooked up to her and everything, and they were asking her like very personal, intimate questions, like hey, have you ever had like men in your house when your husband was outside of business? And she would answer like, when she knew she was, going to tell a lie, she'd be like, yes. It's like, did you have multiple men in your house at the same time when your husband was, out of town? She would say yes. That show was pitched so many times and rejected because people thought the outrage would be insane, until it got approved in like Brazil. And then it was a huge hit there. And then they were like, you know what? Yeah,
experimenting.
With, that's what we got to do.
South America.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
That would be an interesting watch, though, seeing like people's reactions. Like, are you about this?
First of all, I kind of just hate all of reality TV. That's just my own personal thing. But then two, yeah, again, like I'm very less interested to see like what the dude walking down the street right now thinks about that than, because we already kind of know, like, right? Like basically Twitter has like, no, I feel
when
like
you're confronted, yeah, it's easy to hide behind a keyboard, but when you're confronted with it, you making that same choice? It's like the Proud Boys and all these people. Yo, you were in the Capitol. You didn't do shit. You're not about that life. You know, you could have overthrown the government. You didn't do anything.
You see, again,
you
like
took a podium. That's what you did.
I'd be a lot less interested in those type of people getting kind of exposed as like, oh my God, you're deeply racist. It's like, yeah, I kind of figured that much. But if you like went to like all the fucking NBA universe and you did the same shit, yeah, that'd be interesting. I'd be like,
same thing. Yeah, bring them into it, man.
Well,
they have a lot to lose.
Well, some would say they're kind of just running that right now. That's essentially what the NFL.
Well, they ran out that one guy. What was his name?
The dude from the
Seattle?
No. It was the Clippers.
Clippers, yep. Yeah. They ran him out pretty quick.
Yeah, but that's because his shit was so obvious. He was just like,
that might make the country a better place, though. So we can try this. Let's pitch it. Who do we talk to? Fox? They would go for it.
That's exactly. Yeah, I know, right?
Roger Ailes, is that it?
No. Well, they'd only do it if like, well, are they actually slaves? Like, they'd be like, I mean, only if it's real, though. Like, only if they are actual slaves.
Right. So we're changing the idea. It's a show about pitching this show to specifically Fox to see their.
Fox would try to verify, like, are they're actually slaves, right? All right, fuck it, let's run with it.
You got a point there.
All right. Anyways, this is far from what the fuck we started at with the Duffer Brothers. So in another sort of headline thing from Stranger Things. So Millie Bobby Brown recently sort of came out and was like basically like, hey, yo, we got to start like Game of Thrones this shit with like Stranger Things in terms of we got to start killing off characters. Now, I would say that it's pretty rich for her specifically to be saying this because she is the most unlikely to die of everybody on the show. At least not until like the very last episode, the last scene of the show. They are not going to kill her off before then. And if they do, fucking kudos to them for having that sort of bravery.
She might become the next Vecna.
Well, either way, what I'm saying is that her checks will not stop.
Oh, of course not.
She will continue in one shape or another with Stranger Things well beyond, just like the first episode of the next season, right? But it's rich for her to be saying that because she like basically her character is like death proof, right? One way or another, right? But she does have a fucking point in that, like, if you're trying to just kind of create like a whatever kind of show, then all right, cool. Like you just make everybody. And actually, I just was watching something online that kind of spoke to this a little bit. It was somebody, and you haven't watched the Ozarks yet, so it's going to be harder to have this conversation with you. But the guy was saying like how much he appreciated the Breaking Bad ending versus the Ozarks ending. And he kept saying in it that the Ozarks ending wasn't satisfying. And I was like, it's kind of a misunderstanding of what you're watching. Like the best shows aren't shows that you're meant to feel satisfied by, right? They're shows that are supposed to provoke thought, basically giving you a point of view from the world, right? In its entirety and in its full form, right? Sometimes that's not going to be satisfying when you get just a perspective of the world. And just think of your own life. At what points do you really feel satisfied with any one fucking thing or any one relationship, right? That when you come to the end of a relationship, generally it's not really that satisfying in one way or another, right? Rarely do you get the exact closure that you actually want. And then the way I relate that back to the Stranger Things situation is that the Duffer Brothers, I think, are playing it a bit safe in keeping people alive. We're going to talk about it here in a sec. And if for those who don't want spoilers, stop fucking listening now. If you don't want spoilers on Stranger Things,
are you listening?
Exactly. Although they might not have a choice if we just started talking about it. True, immediately, they're like, wait, I didn't sign up for this.
Here for the trailers.
Exactly. And so you have, what's her name?
Millie Bobby Brown.
No, the other Sadie.
Sadie
who,
Sink.
Yeah, who they had the chance to just kill her, and honestly, they had been building up to it, and it's like
Seemed like it, yeah,
completely understandable if they did that. I'd have been sad and be like, "Fuck, that sucks, man." But life is life, you know. But they chose to have the cop out, where it's just like she kind of died, but kind of didn't.
I don't know. You gotta watch the next season.
I think it would be so stupid if they brought it back next season and like, yeah, she really did die. It's like, what the fuck was all that for? Just kill her in the fucking thing. Like, don't. Okay, 2 years later, you bring her back for one scene to show her like, damn, we gotta pull her off a life support. Yeah, the fuck is that? So they pull the punches with that. Now you could argue Eddie, right? Like he was a person who's like he's dead. And you could argue, okay, but it's like you just basically introduced the character in order to have somebody to kill. Like that's the whole reason why they introduced Eddie. Like I appreciate his entire storyline. I think it's really well done, and we're gonna talk about how we feel about the finale here in a sec. Really well done. At least for Stranger Things, it's really well done. But we'll get to that. But basically, his character was brought in there to make us have the feels, but be able to kill him off without really losing any of the core members, right? It was made basically explicitly for that purpose. So you're still kind of pulling your punches there, even though you killed him off. And then they killed the jock dude. Yeah, that was fucking dope. That was just awesome.
Mean, if there was somebody who was going to die, it needed to be him.
That was just great, man. They just cut him in half. I was like, all right, we'll see you later.
Yep. You're just saying. You're part of the world opening.
Yo, that shit looked wild.
Yo, because he like started like ambering, like, you know, like on one side of his body and then like, disappearing on the other side. Yeah, that was nice.
Jesus, that shit looked gross. Anyways, so I was like, you know what? She might have a little bit of a point, and the reason why they're saying Game of Thrones, you haven't watched Game of Thrones yourself, dude. We gotta go through Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I'm just getting through Ozark, man. I'm like on.
Oh, are you?
Season 3, the episode where
let's get it.
Where they were both bribing the therapist at the same time, which I thought was hilarious. And the therapist is like, just admitting, she's like, yeah, you both gave me money.
Oh, the whole thing of that therapist, the whole storyline of that therapist is...
Don't ruin nothing for me because I'm enjoying it.
It is hilarious.
Yeah. I thought that scene alone was
so
funny.
You haven't even gotten to like the funniest... Like that shit was hilarious. You haven't even gotten to the funniest part of what happens with the therapist.
So far, so good. Yeah.
Chef's kiss for everything, for that entire storyline. But shout out to you, man, because when you finish that, we definitely have to have a conversation, and hopefully Rain comes back and we're able to have a full length conversation about that to get some perspectives. But anyways, let's unless you have anything to say about this whole thing.
No. I was under the impression that we were gonna have 5 deaths because that was like the social media thing that was going around.
Why?
Like, that's apparently somebody posted something that said the Duffer Brothers confirmed 5
they would have no cast for next season.
So we started counting. Okay, like who? Like they said main characters. So like who do you consider a main character? Because then like the doctor died, or her dad, Papa. He died first. And okay, that's one.
I don't know why I felt like that was the most meaningless death.
Yeah, of course. It was absolutely meaningless.
It felt so empty.
It felt empty, and it was like, okay, fine, good. Now we're done with that. Let's move on.
Yeah, I never cared about the storyline.
No, absolutely not. He was completely pointless. He was almost like just to justify Vecna at this point, like, what happened to Vecna and like how they got to that point. So yeah, but I was fully anticipating.
Wait, so are we drumming into the conversation now, or are we still okay?
No, well, I mean,
proceed.
Anyway, I was thinking it was going to be more depth than it was, but let's go ahead and jump into the whole conversation.
Yeah, no, we can start right there. So yeah, thinking that there's going to be more deaths than there actually were, and again, the reason why we're saying the Game of Thrones of it, because Game of Thrones at no point in time felt no obligation to keep anybody alive. Everybody was always on the chopping block, literally from the start of the show through the end of the show. There was not one
how
character.
The books were written too. From my understanding.
Essentially, yeah.
So they're staying true to the story.
I don't know if they necessarily were staying true. They were
kind of like with The Walking Dead, because like in The Walking Dead, at some point everybody dies. Like that's how the comic goes.
Yeah, but I feel like they had like 12 seasons with Walking Dead in terms of just like you got enough time. In Game of Thrones, like in the first season, you're like, yo, wait, how do you even have a show after this? Like, what happens next? Okay, wait, which show was that where I was like, what are they even going to do? Oh, it was Mr. Robot. Where they got to Mr. Robot.
I started watching it.
quite possibly my favorite show
I know,
of all time.
I know.
I fucking love Mr. Robot. It is. I just actually watched Sam Esmail. He had another movie. One of my favorite movies is called Comet. You watched it.
Yep.
Yeah. You weren't so much of a fan, but I just recently went back and watched that, and it kind of
wasn't terrible.
Yeah, I don't. It's got a pretty poor rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's Rotten Tomatoes. I forget where I saw the poor rating on, but and I just like, wow, compared to like a lot of the other things that they give like high ratings to. Like
that was
the other day, did you watch Shang-Chi?
No, I have not.
Oh, God, that movie got like a 90-some odd rating, and I'm like, am I watching? Do we watch two separate movies?
Yeah, so
like,
that one I don't understand. Definitely haven't watched it, but from my understanding, yeah, that's like some people are like super high on it, and then some people are just like, "What? What was this?"
I have to like legit think about like maybe I'm watching movies wrong if people consider this to be like a good movie because it was. Anyways, I'm sorry, I'm getting very beyond my point of what I'm even trying to talk about. But yeah, Game of Thrones felt no obligation to keep anybody alive at any point in time. Anybody could fucking get it at any fucking point in time. And which is why you're always on the edge of your seat with Game of Thrones. You're like, yo, I know there are books out there, but also these dudes might just go rogue and start killing people off. Because that's what it felt like. It felt like it didn't fucking matter with them. They would just kill anybody off at any point in time. So I never really felt like Stranger Things was really that kind of show. In that, like, that's not what it's meant for. It's meant to have you have like the good feels, you know? And I feel like if they just start killing people off at random, it feels like they're trying to be something that they're not, you know, which is like this. I mean,
are we saying there's going to be off-limit characters? Where you just absolutely like? Are we saying the main cast?
Final season, things are always off limits.
Right.
Or I'm sorry, final season there are things that are not off limits. But at the same time, you don't like, and this is my problem with shows, right? Is that the reason why I brought up Ozark when we were talking before is because Ozark was true to its DNA till literally the very last fucking frame of the show. They are true. Ozark is true to itself. It doesn't try to be anything different. It doesn't try to like, oh man, people are saying this, so maybe let's like change this up. No, they're just they are telling you their story from their perspective, and that's what they give you, and I fucking appreciate it so fucking much. In Stranger Things, I feel like if they just start lopping people off, it feels like it's the last season, so let's start killing people. It's what it feels like they're doing. It doesn't feel like that's true to the show. Otherwise, honestly, in season 1, I would have liked to see what's the dude that got yoked up? The guy, is not Will, right? Who's the dude with the bowl haircut? I don't know why I forget his name. Yeah, it's not Will. Wait, because Will is not him. Although that sounded stupid. Stranger Things.
It was Will.
It was Will. Okay. Yeah. I would like to see. Look, I would have.
Will.
Yeah, they say it all the fucking time. I would like to see him go that first season. If I'm being perfectly fucking honest here. It would have made a lot of sense if they just would have dropped him the first season.
He was kind of barely in the first season.
Yeah, he was in 4 scenes, dude. Yeah, he was not in it at all.
He could have just barbed it out. Like, just have a Barb character and just be gone.
Yeah, what they should have done is treat people like Barb and just start fucking killing people off. But my point is they would have had to start doing that from like the beginning of the show. When you get towards the end of the show and then you start killing characters off, then it doesn't feel. It feels like the show is going to end. So in order to get the most, and it feels like you're trying to like signify we're coming to the end here, so we're gonna lose some people here, even though we got a lot of mileage out of them, you know, for the time being. We know we're getting to the end, so we're just gonna start doing it in order to make you feel something. And it's like, I don't need all that shit. It's like, stay true to whoever the fuck you are, you know. So anyways, so that's how I feel about them killing off characters. Is
I mean, I feel like at this point you can't kill off Will. Like, he's got to come out the closet. Like,
we got to at least get that in before before we're done here, because Jesus Christ, are they teasing it? Like,
it's like, we all know it.
Come on, man. Like, we've
known it.
Let's just. I forget. And it was kind of funny. Somebody who I must watch like some sort of reel or something like that on Instagram where they're like, yeah. Well, just go ahead and admit it, fam. Like, just go ahead and get it out there. But then they were like, wait, but this is like set in the 80s, so maybe don't. I don't know.
This is the age of experimentation, man. It's the 80s. Like, go ahead and do it.
Nah, man. It was a little bit of a different vibe when you came out with that shit in the 80s. Then, like, if you came out with it now, you're like, all right, okay, cool, fam. Like, do you?
Yeah, I recently found out, like, one of my old coworkers came out.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it was literally like, it was about time. Like, we all knew. Everybody knew.
Yeah, nobody, like, only if you fucking grew up in a fucking, like cult. Cult. Are you like, wait, what's happening? What's going on? I can't believe the Lord. Jesus. Yeah, I think everybody now, like, the vibe is just like, do you?
Well,
man?
come
like,
on,
whatever.
man. Just
but yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That shit probably hit a little different in the 80s. You probably want to be a little bit more selective in terms of when and where you reveal that you know that you're gay or queer, just in general, whatever the case is. So yeah, I can understand. Anyways, so as far as any deaths go, I really wouldn't want to see anybody really die.
To that point, I did want to ask, like, what would you want them to do with Will's character? You know, like, because it is.
I think I like I like where they're going with it in terms of they're going to clearly have, and I've read a few headlines that they're going to kind of like pick up him and Vecna are going to be a little bit more linked in this final season, which actually makes sense a little bit.
To it,
that they're kind of coming full circle with that first season, that he was the one who kind of sparked it all off.
Yep, and he still felt it after he got back. From
Exactly, and so you see it at the end there where his neck starts to prinkle up, you know, and he feels a little something. Yeah, so like it kind of makes sense that they kind of. So I think I like that direction that they're going with it, and I'd be very, and I love bringing stories full circle.
Yeah.
And not so much in terms of like redemption arcs or anything like that, but just like making us see that the progression from the beginning to the end and drawing the parallels, you know, between them. I really enjoy that. So if they do something like that with Will, I'll appreciate that with him. He was essentially useless in season 4. They didn't really have too much for him other than just being in the background for Will and
more or less, yeah.
Or not Will. Mike's and Eleven's relationship, and kind of obviously teasing that he's going to admit that he's gay. Aside from that, they didn't really have too much for him to do. He was just kind of there. But honestly, it felt like that with a lot of the kind of like the B and C storylines. It felt like everything else was kind of on the back burner, which was welcomed. You know, in this
it was because you were also getting introduced to new characters. You know, on that side of the world, because I guess they were in California. Yeah,
they were in California. I feel like they gave the stoner dude a little too much airtime.
I don't know, man. He added some light comedy to it.
He added some light comedy to it, but it was just like, yo, I don't need to spend. You know, it felt like we spent too much time with him.
I disagree because you had 3 seasons of this cast with a couple of new characters.
So we need something to break it up.
So yeah, you just kind of need to break up the monotony a little bit. You know, you got several different storylines going on. You're trying to pay attention to them. You got this guy bringing in a little bit of comedy. Like I feel like that.
I feel like if he changed up his shtick at some point in time, like if he just got like super serious, like because something forced him to be that serious, I feel like I would have I feel like it's like a running joke that they just kept like employing. And it felt redundant after a certain amount of time. It was just like, we get it. He's a fucking stoner.
Will in the entire show. He was a nice breath of fresh air.
or just like a lot of the characters. I'm not gonna lie. I forget what Winona Ryder's character, what her name is in the show, but
I don't even know.
Damn, what is it? Yo, why don't I know everybody's name?
They started adding all these characters.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Joyce.
Yep.
So I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I know she's like, it's like a meme now of her doing like the crazy face, you know, whatever.
I can't do that face.
Yo, that shit is like, eyes. It's like, what are we doing here, dudes? Let's figure out what we're doing.
Ironically, I just watched Black Swan back again.
Yeah.
Have you seen Black Swan at all?
I watched it like a really long time ago.
There was a whole scene where like he's introducing Natalie Portman's character and Winona Ryder's characters. Same exact face, same exact eyes. I'm like, yo, is Vecna about to pop out? And I just missed it the first time I watched the show. Like,
fucking Hopper is about to come out of nowhere. Like,
don't talk about my girl.
We're gonna go on our date.
You're no longer employed as Black Swan. Let's go on our date.
Let's just go ahead and get this date out of the way. So anyways, so let's kind of dial it back here.
We kind of jumped around.
Yeah, we jumped a little bit, but let's kind of talk about sort of how we felt about the finale. We already talked about season 4 in terms of what we feel about the vibe of season 4. Let's talk specifically about this finale to season 4 and maybe some predictions on where we're going at next. I'll let you take the floor first.
Yeah, so I'm super curious to find out where you stand on it. Mm-hmm. I personally loved Volume 2 of the, leading up to Volume 2. I was okay with it. It was kind of dragging a little bit, in season 4.
You mean season 4 overall?
Yeah. Just It was dragging up until the last two episodes.
Sure.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I did. I first of all, just from the actual production standpoint, I thought it was really well done. Not talking about necessarily the writing. The writing has kind of been consistent throughout. Like, you get a little bit, but you don't get a lot. You don't get a whole lot of emotions at times. It is what it is. The production of it, though, the CGI, I thought was fantastic. I think they actually were like, okay, we're gonna put more money into how we're doing the CGI here. The world that they created around Vecna's, palace, whatever you want to call it, where he was, loved that. So in terms of CGI production, loved all of it. The song choices, I loved. Those were all generally songs that I didn't know.
I'm not gonna lie to you. The whole Kate Bush thing, it was hot to start out with, but then it just is
you got to keep carrying that
stuck with
because
it.
Sadie Sink's character, what was her Max? Her character that was the thing that was bringing her back. She was involved throughout that whole storyline in season 4. You had to keep bringing that.
Yeah,
in.
but fam, I love listening. I listen to shit on repeat myself, but. No,
it wasn't on repeat though, man. It was during parts where it needed to be
repeat, and I was like, first of all, running up that
this
hill.
This actually doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah. You should feel like this about it.
Running exactly up the hill so weirdly enough, the first time I ever heard "Running Up the Hill" wasn't actually the Kate Bush version. It was the version. It's like the fucking emo version that I think Placebo does. It was if you ever watched the OC. It was prominently in the OC.
Oh, it was.
Yeah. That's the first time I ever heard
hilarious.
it. So I just always, and then when I heard the original version, I was like, "What is this shit?"
Really?
Because it just sounds so different.
Yeah,
it sounds so different. The two versions.
Dude, I love that. I love that they kept going with it.
Yeah.
I was really fearing that. Maybe somebody else is now gonna go, into the Upside Down, get caught by Vecna, get put into that trance, and then have to be. Brought out by some sort of new disco-y song.
The funny scene was when they were looking for music. I think it was Nancy.
Yeah, and he's like, "This is fucking music." I love that.
That shit was hilarious.
That's why I love Eddie's character, man.
Yeah.
So going through Volume 2, man. When you were realizing, and there was really some point. I think for me it was. You were realizing that Eddie was gonna die, at least to me. I felt that Eddie is gonna die at the end of this, and it really happened when they went into the Upside Down and when
they said
Steve
he was saying
don't be heroes, and he's like, look at us, we're not heroes,
they telegraphed it.
They telegraphed it, and I'm like. There was a little bit of anticipation. I'm like, please don't. I really like Eddie's character. This character.
No, I knew
it, but I knew it was coming.
Well,
I knew it was
function, right? Like if you look at the function of the whole thing, well, who can you kill off without really losing too much here?
Exactly, especially with who he was paired up with. Sitting next to Dustin.
Yeah, and how they always exchange their love for each other.
Yeah,
you just
and when you really looked at that relationship, who did Dustin really look up to? It really was Steve and Eddie, and it was all right.
I literally actually there was some time where I thought they were definitely going to kill Steve.
I thought so too for a little while because I'm
because
I was like, okay, maybe this is Dustin's new Steve now. And Eddie was gonna be I
always
the
knew
guy.
I always knew
this
Eddie was going to die.
Scene, though. This was before that scene I was talking about. In my head, I was like, it could be Steve.
No,
it could be.
I always knew that Eddie was going to die. My question was, would they kill Steve? Because I just assumed that maybe they wanted to try to get him out of the way. So Nancy has weird feelings for what's the other dude's name?
Jonathan.
Jonathan.
I didn't see. I didn't see that at all. I literally thought, okay, if they're trying to play on this storyline where Nancy and Jonathan are having some sort of relationship issues and they're across the country from each other, and Steve is there, it'd be too easy to just get rid of Steve. If we're gonna have a whole nother season, there needs to be more than just what's happening to 11 with Vecna. They're gonna need to keep having different storylines. This is now gonna be one of the storylines. So for a moment there, I did think it, man. For a moment, I was like, it could be that Steve is gone.
So the reason why I thought they were going with the Steve route is because they basically always showed Steve as like the person who wants to be the hero, but never really is.
Yeah.
So I thought where they were going with it is that, okay, he actually gets the opportunity to be a hero. And it's the most like bitter thing in the world because him and Nancy clearly still have feelings for each other, as well as his connection with Dustin, as well as just that whole storyline altogether of him being, wanting to be the hero but never really being the hero. So that's why I thought there. And honestly, they didn't really, outside of the Nancy thing, they didn't really give Steve too much this season to kind of like deal with. They kind of had that weird. Steve kind of realized that, oh, okay, Eddie's kind of got it with Dustin right now, so let me let that rock. So I thought they were kind of like prepping us for that, so that's why I thought it was going to be Steven.
I can definitely see that. It was just the like emotion that I had when I was first watching the beginning of Volume 2. I was like, it really could be Steve until that point. With
sure.
Eddie. Look, a lot of people have been talking the like greatest metal show ever. Like that they were saying.
I mean, it was cool. It was hot.
It was cool,
but.
Greatest thing ever. I don't know about that, but like,
and also I don't really care for like rock music, so maybe I'm. Just,
I mean, like I do. It didn't
it was like Guns N' Roses. Was that what that was?
No.
What song was that? Metallica. I think it was Metallica, right?
I don't necessarily know if I was paying attention as much to the song as just the visuals of it. Which the visuals in that scene, man, like I loved it. I loved the way that they had him perched up there. I loved all the evil birds, whatever they were, crazy vampire, bats. I don't know what they were.
Right. Let's talk about the unrealistic nature of him surviving that long. Yo, those things were gang.
Well, I don't know. They were a couple of them were poking at him first, and then he
low IQ. Those things.
They were. Well, that's why they're the workers. That's just the way it works. But that whole scene, man, like I loved it though. Like I did. I absolutely loved the special effects. Them just surrounding him and him still going. I did hate one part of it. I did hate one part of it. In the grand scheme of things, of the way that the show ended up going with 11 going, into the salt bath, finding her way, to Max and helping her out. And of course, everything is hindsight. But did he really have to die?
Wait, who?
Eddie. Couldn't he just had, still continued in there, letting them attempt to breach the Well,
I think the idea is that he didn't know.
I know that's the idea. It's just when I end up looking back at it as a whole, given that how much people like that character, did he absolutely have to die? Couldn't have been Steve?
Yes, somebody had to die.
It could have been Steve.
Well,
could have been Will. You introduce this lovable character, man. There's other characters that I feel like we could do without.
But that's why. The reason why
I'm not even gonna lie. Even like Mike, like at this point, like how much is Mike really doing for the show?
We kind of got rid of Mike.
Yeah, like seriously, there's so many other characters at this point that you could just get rid of.
Yeah, we could have probably got rid of Mike.
Anyway, but let me finish just my overall thought. Like I absolutely loved Volume, 2 of it.
Yeah.
Volume 1, it was nice. It was the build up to it. I did like what they did with Vecna. Jamie Bauer, was that the actor's name?
Maybe, I don't know.
Because I know he played Jace in the Mortal Instruments. But anyway, I like what they did with his character. Surprisingly, I thought he did really well in his role. From the creepy little assistant, that was helping out.
It was.
It was marvelously done.
Again.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Beautifully done.
And then, the transformation into what he is. I remember our one conversation that we had last time I was in. I was like, hey, do you think Mind Flayer was actually controlling Vecna? Mm-hmm. And, now that Mind Flayer is gone, Vecna can do his thing. No, it was the other way around. You find out.
He was controlling.
It's like, he realized that he can create the Mind Flayer. Love that, because I really did think, based on how some of the conversations went with their theories, in Volume 1, that Vecna really was the foot soldier to Mind Flayer, but it was actually the other way around. So it was a nice surprise to me.
I feel like they let the cat out of the bag a little early with that.
They did a little bit.
It felt like,
but I mean, you had a lot to fit in though, so I don't know.
Well, this will go into my analysis when I talk about it. But
Just the one thing that I didn't like, I didn't necessarily like the ending where Dustin lets Eddie's uncle, I think it was, maybe.
Yeah, no.
Know that he has passed. I don't know. It felt a little forced to me. Not saying that the acting wasn't well or anything like that. It just felt a little forced to me. That's the only thing I didn't like. Everything else I did actually enjoy. Tom Blashiha, the guy who played Dmitri, the Russian guy, I really did enjoy his character once he actually started getting a little bit more of a involvement other than just I'm smuggling you out of here.
Mm-hmm.
I did like his character a little bit. The guy who played the other Russian guy who was smuggling them, I forgot his name. I enjoyed his character. It was getting a little old, a little bit, but still, he served his purpose. I like that character. Mm-hmm. But I do agree with you, man. Like, we could have killed off different characters. Like, it didn't necessarily have to be Eddie. If Mike or Will died, or both, I wouldn't lose any sleep over it.
Yeah, I think I look at it from both like a fan's perspective, but also like just like a storytelling perspective. It's like, you don't really introduce a character like Eddie, and especially like think of like why you love him, right? Mm-hmm. Is he's the most likable character in terms of like he's the person who is being persecuted, but his like a hard, like how many times during it did they say, but he's like just a good fucking dude, like.
It brings you back that he's a misfit, just like in season 1, the gangs were misfits. They were little nerds, and that's what's you fell in love with them just for that aspect. This is now just a high school second year senior, that is a misfit. You just fell in love with him, man.
Who for all intent and purposes, it's like society. This is what society's saying is like a bad person, right? Like, or like, oh man, somebody who's like beyond redemption or whatever the case is. But really, he's just like he's just a dude who likes what the fuck he likes, and that's basically all of us, right? That's why we all like Stranger Things, is because it's about some a group of friends who like doing whatever the fuck they like doing, and everybody else is kind of like persecuting them because of it. Specifically, even this season where they basically call the Hellfire Club a fucking cult or whatever the fuck they were saying, and Eddie was obviously so I think that's why he was the easiest person to kill off, because he basically is designed for them to kill him off, to make you feel all of the feels that you would feel for anybody else. Well, maybe not anybody else among the core group, but like think back to like season 1. Like if they would have killed somebody off in season 1, like say if they would have killed Mike off in season 1 or fucking Dustin off in season 1, you'd have been like, whoa, what the fuck is going on here? That's fucked up. Right, exactly.
Yeah, Dustin's never dying in this show. I'm just putting it out there. He's not dying. He is not dying.
No, I feel like
they will revolt.
No, I feel like
the Supreme Court will be overrun.
The Supreme Court would be like, we rule that Dustin lives on. Okay, they would do something fucked up because that's what they're into right now. So anyways, so in my analysis for the second part to season 4, is that they did it in a really weird way, and I wish they wouldn't have done that. I wish they would have done it more just episodic, like half and half maybe, or maybe even split it up into thirds, even of maybe we get 4 episodes in the first part, 4 episodes in the second part. I don't know how many episodes it was. I think it was 9 episodes, so maybe 3 and 3. Because what it did was just like, it made those last 2 episodes feel like what it felt. My biggest critique of it is that those last 2 episodes had a lot of scenes that it was just like, yo, we could have just left this on the cutting room floor. Like we didn't have to string this out as long as we did. There were a lot of like scenes like say between Max and what's my guy's name? Not Will. Lucas. Between Lucas, right? It's like, I get it, they're cute, they're saying it, basically saying their goodbyes to one another. Okay, but we've been here for fucking 5 minutes. We could wrap this up real fucking quick. Like it especially when they led up to it. Like we already got all the stuff that we needed, and it felt like there was just like a lot of extra shit that they threw in there. There were like a lot of just scenes that were like B-roll shots that, again, like felt like super unnecessary. Like we don't need to see this person get from point A to point B. We're already there with you, and it felt like the timing was unjustified for in terms of how long each episode was. Like there was a lot of stuff with 11 where her like it felt like they stopped the show at certain points in order to have this like heart to heart. Like
I do agree with that. Yeah,
with Mike, with Papa, definitely 100%.
That whole scene with Papa at the end.
Yeah.
Where did that fit into literally anything? Like, are you
Nothing.
trying to like say that she's gonna be maybe a little bit more
No,
heartless later on?
no. I think the whole storyline with 11 is proper in terms of like their reasoning for it, but their implementation of it in terms of how long each thing took was just like we could have wrapped this up sooner.
I agree.
Like, so it makes sense with her character, right? Like that basically, she's been harboring this entire time, and they've highlighted the season that she thought she was like dangerous or bad or whatever the case is, and she's made to feel that way because she feels like if she doesn't have Papa, then who's like making the decisions for her, then she might fucking go nuts and start doing some crazy shit. So she's been viewing kind of herself. She's been internalizing all that shit. So what it really was is that he's fucking insane,
Right.
and doing some crazy shit, and basically, which is why I really like that the last bit that they had there. But again, I didn't feel like the entire thing needed to be that long. But the last bit that they have, which is basically like he's like, I need you to understand that I did this for a reason, or I forget exactly how the line goes, and she's just like, nah, I can't give you that. And that's good. That's good writing there, right?
I like that.
But the thing as a whole is like we didn't need this to be fucking. But the scene that actually stood out to me was Mike's scene with her, where he's like giving her sort of that pep talk. That joint was like 12 minutes long, and it's just like, Mike, first of all, I don't give a shit about this, but more importantly, why is it taking so long? Just, I love you.
Yep.
Go get him. Like, that's it. We're in route. Like, we don't need this whole,
Yeah,
like,
I did feel like it
oh my
dragged
God,
on.
I'm the heart, and I need you to realize that. And it's just like, yo, it seemed like he was doing like a social studies project, and he was just like, he was reading the project, and it's just like, yo, I felt like Dave Chappelle. Wrap it up, B. Like,
Yeah,
you know. So it just felt like they had like a lot of scenes like that. So that, but all in all, they had to have done something different this season in terms of their whole process of writing. They had to either brought somebody new in. They had to have something. You cannot fucking convince me that the same people that wrote season 2, season 3, and arguably season 1 were the same people that wrote this. It's impossible for it to. What I like in this too is the difference between Lil Wayne prior to the Carter 2.
Okay.
I don't know if that reference lands with you,
I do.
but
I still-
Carter 1, Wayne.
I still like 98 Degrees, you know.
No, you can like him.
Way,
you can like him. I'm not saying you should. Exactly. It's the same thing with Stranger Things. I'm not saying you can't like it.
Yeah.
You just have to acknowledge there's a fucking difference between the
Something
Carter
changed.
2.
Something changed.
There's just a really sharp fucking difference between Carter 1 Wayne, pre-Carter or Carter 1 and before Wayne, and post-Carter 2 Wayne. Those are two different fucking Waynes, and you can't convince me otherwise, right? Same thing with the fucking Stranger Things.
Also, wasn't 900 Degrees? What was that album?
Wayne? Fuck.
I
I
said
feel like it's
98 Degrees, but it's
No,
not
that-
98.
no,
It's
it's
like
definitely not.
900 degrees or something like that. Anyway, let's not get off topic.
Yeah, I forget
I
exactly
just
what it
couldn't
was.
remember. It's been a while.
So anyway, so clearly, I think the writing is just much better. The storytelling is much more focused, and all of the plot lines, like, they kind of intersect and make sense with each other, which I really very much appreciate. The only other negative that I can say about the season, and I don't want it to seem like I didn't like. I enjoyed the shit out of the season. I couldn't wait to watch the part 2 of season 4, and I really enjoyed it after watching it. Like I said, it kind of, for me, it was like they extended some parts that I didn't really care for them to extend, but all in all, I think it was great. The only other thing that I would say about it is that I really did wish that this was the last season, because it felt like although I really like where they were going. 2 more things, and then we'll be done with this. Although I really like where they were going with it, this felt like the end. You know what I mean? It felt like we were getting ready for the end here, and I love where they're going with it in terms of, like, now the realities are crossing. Now it's no longer that they just are the ones who are going into the upside down, and now it's like, okay, well, what do you do when the upside down comes into your actual world? How do you defend that? Where you're not able to keep these 2 worlds separate. I do like where they're going with it, but I also like how they've borrowed out from a lot of different things this season, and I'm here for it. Like, one thing we didn't talk about the last time we talked about this, it was how they borrowed from, like, horror movies from the 80s. Specifically, I loved what they pulled from, like, Nightmare on Elm Street. I thought it was fucking awesome. Both with Vecna as and you can obviously find and the dude Robert England, something like that. The dude who played Freddy was actually Vecna's father. So it was a cool homage there. Yeah.
They also pulled from that '70s show. I don't know if you noticed that.
I didn't pick it up. Oh, was it the shirt? Yeah. It was like
they
the
had
shirt.
A lot of, little different setups.
That wasn't this season though, if I'm not mistaken. That was previous
just overall,
seasons.
yeah. But they you would see those like little nuggets thrown in there. I think there was even some reference back to the Future as well. So they have had those nuggets. This season though was way more pronounced, and I like the way they brought it in.
I did. Yeah, I love the whole haunted house thing, or like they made it like seem like the house from Nightmare on Elm Street. Yep. I love that whole shit. One other thing that they definitely pulled from Ghostbusters. I think they kind of got this from in that basically like the commingling of the worlds, right? So they definitely pulled it from that. And then there was one other show that I definitely thought that they definitely borrowed from, where basically like towards the end, it was like you saw the merging of all these worlds into one, and fuck me for not remembering what it was. I remembered it a second. I should have just wrote it down. But anyway, the fact that they borrowed from other stuff was sometimes I can find it a little distasteful in terms of just like, okay, well, you just fucking hijacked this fucking story plot line. But for some reason in season 4, it does not bother me
it's because they didn't hijack an entire plot line. Yeah. They just use those as creative examples to re-envision how they, within their own plot line, are going to act this out. I think it pays homage to, those older shows, those older movies. I loved it. Yeah. I thought it was cool.
Yeah. But for season...
I think at one point, in season maybe 1, it might have been, they even had a reference to It. Where he... I think like they were driving in a car and they made a reference to like, we had a clown in our town, and it was a direct reference to It and Pennywise and everything. They didn't specifically say Pennywise, but I caught on to that early on.
Yeah. I don't know what show it is. It's still bothering me that I can't remember what show it was, but it does kind of remind me of like Mr. Robot a little bit, where you get to the end of season 1 and Mr. Robot, and you're like, whoa, what the fuck happens here? Because the thing that we think you can stretch out for like 5 seasons happened now, so I don't know, how far are you in Mr. Robot?
Just the first season.
So you finished the first season?
Yeah.
Perfect.
No, I think I'm on the last episode.
Oh shit. Okay, my bad.
Because I ended up starting watching Ozark, and then it was just like I just kept watching. Yeah,
dude, those are some dark shows. Like, you gotta watch yourself here, man. Because I fucked up with that too, where I watched Breaking Bad and Mad Men back to back. Dude, my outlook on life was shaky at that point. Oh my god, I was very cynical around that time period. I think that might have changed me forever. With watching
the patriarchy at the same time as fighting the law.
Yo, I'm fighting my own mental illness is what I'm fighting. As I watch these shows back to back. But anyways, long story short, loved what they did with season 4. Now I'm very interested to see if they can repeat that success with season 5, which I think they will. I think as long as it feels like they had a formula for season 4, and I have to go back and kind of like watch it, but it felt like they although they borrowed from like a lot of different things, it felt like the storyline itself it feels very reminiscent, and I just have to kind of like meditate on like where I feel like I've seen this story before, because it felt like there was a playbook that they were going from, and it felt like they just executed that playbook really fucking well.
Yeah, I kind of felt that too, especially with certain escalations of relationships that you saw from season 1. From Nancy with Steve, then to Nancy with Jonathan, and you didn't necessarily see like jumps from people, but then you like saw a certain separation. From Eleven and Mike separating distance wise to Sadie Sink's
or the whole group separating.
The whole group, exactly. So they kept continue like playing on that element where like they were together, but then they would break apart. They were together, they would break apart. So I enjoyed that.
Usually it's in season, and I fucking hate this because they stole my idea. Oh, and I'll explain what that is. My idea for a show is that in order for you to have a great show, it cannot, and I must stress this, it cannot be anything more than 5 seasons. And we might have talked about this before, but if you have anything more than 5 seasons, you're running out of things to talk about. I can't tell you a show.
It's actually very true because I think it was I don't know who plays the actor who plays Sean in Psych, and the guy who plays Gus. I forgot their characters, but they actually came
Never
out,
watched Psych. So
like they came out and they said our show was hugely successful, but at some point you could only do so many of the same exact things in different scenarios. You just kind of ran out.
Well, because if you my theory is if you have anything more than 5 seasons,
James
then that
Roday,
means
that was
his name.
Yeah.
My theory is that if you have anything more than 5 seasons, you don't really have a goal in mind that you're just like, oh shit, people like this. Let's keep it pushing, you know? But all of the greatest shows, the only show that I think is minorly maybe the exception is perhaps maybe The Sopranos. But I could argue that you could have definitely cut The Sopranos to like 3-4 seasons and gotten your fill of the show. It's just that I feel like each episode with The Sopranos was just so well done that you kind of don't mind that it's fucking 9 seasons.
I don't want to get off topic, but I was recently watching one of the episodes back, and it was the one where
which show? Oh, Sopranos. Okay.
Yeah, and I was watching. It was the episode where I forgot the characters' names, but the main guy and his wife.
Tony,
yeah. And they were in their bedroom, and she's like, well, I've been thinking about this guy, and so and so, and he gets pissed off, but like before that, he was like, I don't know why, like my dad ran out on my mom and did all these things, and like you knew I do this, like why would you be surprised when I do it to you? Like I just like that dynamic. I love that. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there.
No, Sopranos is a fucking great show, man. Such a nuanced show, But I think that's why
it holds what they
retains
exactly.
Yes, yes, and I think I genuinely think it's because there's not really like there is kind of an overarching plot of just like you're following Tony and sort of his journey, but there's not really like a goal. Like there's no real goal with The Sopranos. There's no like this happens and that happens, and then
it's just the lifestyle.
It's just the life of this fucking mob boss, and what he's going through. Which is why I think it was able to survive for 9 seasons and for it to not really feel like, okay, we're really fucking missing the mark, because there's no real setup for an actual specific plot line. But if your thing is to have like these really intricate plot lines and that's your thing, then it has to fucking have a very concise beginning, a very concise middle, and a very fucking concise end. If it doesn't,
so how do you then like feel about with Stranger Things going into season 5? Because to me, while season 4 could have ended, the way that they build up to what's now going to be season 5, and from all intents and purposes, everything that I'm reading, it's going to be the final season. The fact that they're now merging the underneath to the real world, I like that.
I didn't see that coming, and I love that.
That's why I actually like the fact that there is not going to be a season 5, just to see how that's going to play out.
Yeah, I love this idea. And maybe it's reminding me of Buffy a little bit, when like the final season of Buffy, but not really.
I didn't watch all the way through.
Fair enough. But which is why I remember this from somewhere. I remember this exact, almost like the exact like setup for it, where the thing starts creeping into your world, and everybody's like looking like, oh shit, this shit has got real,
There's been several movies, like Constantine did that, where it was merged between the
not
two
in
worlds,
this way. Like I'm literally like almost like scene for scene, like shot for shot. It's like I kind of remember.
Now
this
I'm really
whole thing
curious
happening.
what you're thinking.
Yeah, I really gotta meditate on it and think about it. But
I'll get you a gummy.
Yeah, that might lead me to some other conclusions. But with this specific show, I think I'm interested to see what they do with season 5. The only thing that I'm like curious about now is if they can repeat basically the storytelling process that they had in season 4, which I'm not sure that I don't know. I think season 4 has been really fucking unique, and up until now we've gotten what we've gotten from Stranger Things. So I'm not under the assumption that we're going to get like the same thing.
Yeah.
But hopefully we do. If we don't, then I'll just cherish season 4 for what it was.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see, man. I feel like season 5 is gonna be far less, flashbacks, far less, diving deep into your memory. I feel like they're gonna make it more straight to the point.
So they still. I was saying they stole my idea. They stole my idea because, for one, it's going to be 5 seasons. But the 2, I've always maintained that, especially with these type of especially shows with like a lot of action and these type of things, I've always maintained that the first 4 seasons should be a lead up to the 5th season. It should be basically like the Terminator is how we should be treating these shows. The first 4 seasons are basically just a warm up until you get to your final season, and then your final season is about the war.
Right.
And I feel like that's where they're going.
Yeah,
and I fucking hate them because they beat me to the fucking idea. Because it story wise,
your life, man. Why aren't you writing shit?
That's exactly fucking right. But it's just like the best way to fucking tell a story, right? Is that you have all of these like this build up to some sort of like a scenario where everybody's forced to react in the moment versus like you get to know these characters and you lay down the groundwork, and then you just have something that fucking just shits all over whatever their reality is. Mm-hmm. And that to me is a war. So you throw a war right into the middle of, you know, your characters and say, okay, well, we've laid down the groundwork for who you were, who you think you're going to be. And now comes a time where all of that gets put to the test and you don't have a moment to really fucking sit and think. It's just the perfect fucking way to end a fucking show is to, especially like I said, it's different if you're fucking talking about, you know, bring up Ally McBeal again, right? Like you're not going to fucking have a war at the end of Ally McBeal.
I'll learn English watching that show, so it's all good.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but like to that point though, like you think about like, you know, the Duffer Brothers that did this, obviously they have a lot of, after the first season and it being such a success, they had a huge creative license. They can just do whatever they want. You know, I cannot see Netflix, you know, having any kind of hand in it, you know, saying, oh no, like we need you guys to like do
I don't think Netflix gave a shit. They were just like, yeah, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Just as long as you got that intro still the same way, we don't care.
But like they're from like our time period. Like they're 80s babies. Like they're close enough to our age where it almost seems like they get it. Mm-hmm. Like they've seen enough of 9-season shows where maybe it's like, okay, we realize.
Well,
like,
also they're at Netflix, and Netflix doesn't do 9 seasons.
That too, yeah. I mean, absolutely. But still, at the same time, though, like how many times does Netflix go past like 3-4 seasons? You know, so
honestly,
it's like,
I couldn't really. I think maybe you could say House of Cards, maybe. Because House of Cards was 6 seasons.
Different. That was like their big show in the beginning, their own show. So they kind of feel like they had an obligation to keep running with it until shit came up.
You know, so that was going to be the end, the final season, regardless of the shit that played out with
especially after
Kevin Spacey. Yeah, they were definitely glad to fucking steer that bitch off the shit.
Yeah, guys, watch Stranger Things now.
Yeah.
No, but like my point is like I feel like they kind of get it because they've lived through the same kind of like, you know, shows that we have.
Yeah. What was the worst show that like was just like, yo, we should have put this joint down long ago? I guess you could argue Smallville.
Well, Smallville, I mean, like because I like once season 5 started, I was like, I don't know, like
season 5 was definitely a turning point with Smallville where
like
there was still some interest there.
Like, I think I've maybe watched half of it, maybe, but I started losing interest. Lost was definitely one of them.
I never, you know what? And people talk so much shit about Lost that I'm like, I don't think I want to do it.
Yeah, it was Lost. Prison Break was one of them where I'm like, yo, you're out of the prison. It's not a prison break anymore.
That was also a show.
It's Fugitive now. Like that's all it is.
I remember that. Yeah, I know it. Just have it transition into a different show. But
and then they brought it back too. They brought Prison Break, for a mini series where Michael was like in some sort of like Mexican jail or something, and they finally found him again. Like, yeah, it should have just ended. Season 2, Prison Break ended right there. Figure something out, cut it off. Lost, definitely. There was another. I think the OC went on a little too long, in my opinion.
Dude, but it was only 4 seasons.
Still, like after the like nostalgia of the first season,
how do you
maybe
go
the
too long
season?
in 4
Absolutely,
seasons?
Man.
No, I don't think the OC's
Nip Tuck went on for way too long.
Yeah, you're saying all the shows that I definitely didn't watch. The OC. The only reason why I say the OC, it's just they weren't expecting the success that they got. I think.
Yeah.
And
you could tell.
They weren't ready for all that shit because they didn't know where to. Season 1, I'm not going to say it's a masterpiece by any stretch of the imagination, but there was actually like a good fucking story there in season 1 that was thoughtful, right? In that here you have this dude Ryan who comes to this place that he's like fish out of water, you know, all these like rich people, and then he starts to like build a life and he starts to feel comfortable, and then he gets dragged right back to his previous life. Beautiful story. They had no idea what the fuck to do after that. they had no place to go after that.
There was another show that was really similar to that.
One Tree Hill.
Yeah, One Tree Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, same exact.
No, I would argue. Okay, that definitely did go on way longer than it needed to be. Seasons 1 through 5, maybe you could even throw maybe a possible 6 in there.
I made it through 3, maybe.
Seasons 1 through 3 were.
And then I would like catch reruns
okay.
every now and then.
Season 1 through like that was definitely prime One Tree Hills.
But there are certain shows that actually hold their appeal going further and further.
I'm telling you, there's a consistency in them in that they don't really have like a definitive like plot line.
It's I don't know, man. So we're watching Stargate SG-1.
Yeah.
From the beginning, like all 10 seasons.
For sure.
And at first I was like, man, this is like 10 seasons, like a 45-minute episodes. Like this is what I'm actually like enjoying watching, because it brings me back to Star Trek and like just the world exploration and everything.
Now I love that you said Star Trek, because what I would argue is that they don't actually have a plot line.
It's actually the same exact thing in Stargate Atlantis, other than we got to get rid of the Goa'uld. They're probably going to attack Earth at some point.
But it's like there's some like overarching thing that you get little snippets of here and there, but not really anything that's like worth anything. So
Gilmore Girls. I know you probably didn't watch Gilmore Girls. I very much enjoyed Gilmore Girls.
I watched a little bit of Gilmore Girls
all the way to the end.
I never really I never stuck with it. I only watched like a few episodes here and there. I never really like. watched it all
the writing is very creative. The little banter back
Dawson's
and forth.
Creek.
Dawson's Creek. Yep.
Yeah, that definitely lasted longer than it probably should have. We probably should have put Dawson's Creek. I'm not even sure Dawson's Creek should have lasted like 3 seasons.
No, Dawson's Creek should have lasted up until he was starting quarterback for his high school team in Varsity Blues.
Oh yeah, no, that was at the heyday of. We were at the heyday of what's his name, Vanderbeek. We were at peak Vanderbeek at that point in time. Dawson's Creek was an interesting one because I thought the whole Pacey storyline, I thought that was really good, right? In that we all thought it was going to be what's her name in the show?
It's been so long. I know who you're talking about.
Damn it, what's her fucking name? Something Holmes. Katie Holmes, but her character on the show was Dawson and Joey. Was it Joey? No.
Joey Porter.
Joey Porter. Okay.
Potter. Yeah.
Porter. Right. So we all thought it was going to be Dawson and Joey, right? But then it ended up being Joey and Pacey, and that was like a good not swerve, but it was just like a good like, oh shit. Well, you just go with the person you actually fucking have chemistry with and love instead of the person who you're supposed to be with, and so that was good, but yeah, it just went on for like a few seasons, and then they made the fatal mistake of trying to capture the college years. Always a mistake.
Do that now.
Always a fucking mistake. I love the way that One Tree Hill did it, and that they just skipped the college years. They're like, all right, 5 years into the future after everybody's done college and shit, let's get back to it, which is smart. Let's see if they were to do that though,
like personally, just in Dawson's Creek, they needed, if they really wanted to do that, get into the college years, the show needed to start at a later point in their lives, so that way you can lead into like the 3rd season maybe of Dawson's Creek into the college years, and then you proceed if you wanted to do that
earlier.
Even earlier.
Yeah, I would argue that.
Yes, you could,
because they basically got them sophomore year or junior year in high school. And so we really only had like 2 seasons of them being like high school,
which sucks because it was a show about teenage angst in high school. Yeah, you started at a funny point, so I agree. Anyway,
yeah, you started at a weird point. I'm trying to think of a couple other shows, and then we'll move on to trailers and then get the fuck out of here.
Oh, side note.
Yeah,
I remember this when we were talking back greatest shows of all time, and I had said Stargate SG-1 because it was one of the longest running shows there, really was at the time.
And we probably disagreed with you. Sure.
Yeah, Sergio said, well, no, it can't be a show that ended up leading to having a movie, in theaters. It was actually the other way around. The first Stargate came out as a movie, and people loved the movie. Then it was turned into a whole 10 season show of SG-1, then Atlantis was like 8 seasons. Yeah. And then like Stargate Universe, nobody watched that shit. You got Jason Momoa out of Stargate Atlantis, that was his big thing, yeah.
Yeah. What other shows that lasted longer than they probably should have? I would argue maybe Family Guy, kind of overall. It at first had too short of a stay, and then it had too long of a stay. Like basically all those shows,
because the jokes kind of get played out after a little while.
Yeah, there's
King of the Hill did the same kind of thing where it just ran a little too long. Yeah. There was one on Cartoon Network that I remember, or no, Adult Swim. Or was it Futurama? Like I just at some
No,
point,
Futurama
like
definitely didn't.
I loved Futurama. It
didn't get its life. Futurama was also one that got cut a little early.
Really, you think so? You want to see more Futurama?
How long did it last? It didn't really last that
4
many
or 5
seasons.
seasons, I think.
I think they only do that more recently. Like they brought it back for like a season or two.
Is that what it was?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I
that
think it only
makes
lasted like
sense.
3 seasons or something like that.
7 seasons total. So I don't know when they brought it back though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it went 4 seasons first, then they brought it
Yeah.
back. That's why I'm thinking. I was like, because I recently, not recently, but maybe like in the last 2 years, started from the beginning, watching it all the way through, and I'm like, yeah, this is kind of getting a little like,
Seventh
boring.
Heaven.
Oh my god.
That
yes.
clearly lasted longer than it fucking should have.
Yes.
Like anything.
But
Like
that's like CW too, right? That was WB.
Basically all the fucking CW or the WB shows.
It's like they had one budget for one show, and they're like, how can we make it last over 7 seasons?
Let's stretch this bitch.
The era of 12 seasons.
Yeah. Basically all those WB shows.
make money,
Seventh
though.
Heaven, went longer than any fucking
Is that a
religious show
DC
probably should.
company? They're out of DC, right?
The WB?
Yeah. Right out
Fuck
of
if I
Baltimore?
know. Dude, you're looking at me like I
No,
have
no,
an
I thought
inside
you
track
would
on
know.
this.
Yeah, you
I
should
don't
know,
fucking
man.
know, dude.
Born in Colombia.
Somewhere.
Somewhere.
All right. I know they like broadcast out of, like even in Baltimore City, like they have some of their broadcasts
Maybe that's
come out
what
of
I'm
here.
thinking,
But I don't know if I doubt if they're actually like producing shows like out of here.
probably
We
not,
would have heard about that. Yeah. Like it was a big deal when fucking
Netflix started doing House of Cards.
House of Cards here, and so if they were
I
fucking
think they were
shooting,
doing it in Harford County at some point too.
yeah, so if they're doing like Seventh Heaven like down the block, I think we would have figured that out.
What was that main character's name? The guy with the hair.
The dad?
No. Hold on.
Wait, from Seventh Heaven?
Yeah.
All I remember is Jessica Biel. That's all I remember.
That's all you remember?
Yeah. That's the only thing I fucking remember.
Hey, that's okay if that's all you remember. No, it was David Gallagher, that guy.
David Gallagher.
You remember?
He was on Seventh Heaven.
Yeah.
Doing what? What the fuck was he doing on Seventh Heaven?
He played Simon.
What are you? David Gallagher. Wait, we're not talking about Peter. I'm thinking about Peter
Yeah, you're
Gallagher.
thinking about
Okay.
some of it. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Jessica Alba, Ally McBeal, whoever you were talking about there for a
Biel?
second.
Fair
Jessica Biel,
enough.
yeah, that's all we need to worry
Alright.
about here.
Let's think of one more and let's get the fuck out of here with this particular conversation. One show that lasted a lot longer than it should have.
Walker, Texas Ranger.
No, let's. I don't even,
Season 1 scrap it.
Yeah, first episode. Let's get this shit out of
Actually,
here.
you know what? Knight Rider. Knight Rider went on way too long. I don't know if you ever watched it. That was a big thing in Germany,
every
man.
80s show should have
Big
lasted
thing in Germany,
a season.
dude. Big thing.
Yeah, I offer those on a discount because MASH
On a
lasted 12,000 years. Fucking
Yo,
because there's
are they
not that
still
much.
getting residuals if they're
they
alive?
would have to. If they're not, Jesus Christ, did
Why'd
they miss
you do
out?
that?
Yo, that contract was garbage. If they
Seriously. Was there a union back then?
definitely not, they definitely did not have a fucking union back. There's no Actors Guild back then. No, they probably
man.
did. No, I'm thinking
There
post.
was a recent FX show too, not recent, but then maybe in like the last 10 or 15 years that I remember. I was like, man, it's going on way too
Was
long.
it not Mayans, but the one before it?
Oh, the biker one.
Sons of Anarchy.
Sons of Anarchy. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it was cool for like 4 seasons.
Yeah, and then turn those.
And then it's like, yeah, you get characters, or it's Sons of Anarchy, and also Justified with
Didn't watch that either. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like at some point it's like you get characters doing things that weren't doing
The
them
one
before.
show that has lasted so long, and you know what? I offer it the same thing that I offer like what we're talking about with Sopranos is It's Always Sunny. That show literally can go on forever because it's a show
it has no
with
point.
no
It's
plot.
just, yeah.
It's just people acting fucking stupid on a daily basis. Yeah.
It's like the Joe Rogan experience. Like, just stop.
There are a few jokes to make off of that, but instead of continuing that conversation
Yeah, right.
longer,
It can go on forever.
Yeah,
Like the shows.
So long story short, season 4 of Stranger Things, fucking dope as shit.
Yep.
Season 5, I'm not expecting too much, but we're definitely at least expecting better than what we
I'm
had
excited.
in season 2.
And from what I'm reading, the Duffer Brothers did confirm you are not going to have to wait as long as you did between seasons
No, if it means
3
we get-
and 4.
Yeah, no,
but they have not started filming yet.
Well, they would have to because everybody's like,
yeah. Also, Netflix is probably like, yo, we're losing
We
subscribers.
need-
We need you guys.
Yo, we needed that shit yesterday. What the fuck?
We can name it to Dufferflix. Like, it don't matter.
What do
Give
you
us something.
fucking mean you haven't started writing season 4? What? Fucking dying. There might not be a Netflix by the time you guys finish this shit.
You want to be on Hulu? Get the fuck going.
Holy shit. Do you want to be the stepchildren on fucking Amazon Prime? Is that what you fucking want here?
Oh man.
Holy shit. All right, let's get to our first trailer here. We're gonna talk about The Resort. So this is I guess a show about exploring love and the weird things that we do in its name, in case an elaborate true crime conspiracy. This was, I guess, created by Andy Ciara. I believe that's how you pronounce that. And this is starring Christine Milioti, who I fucking love, by the way. Ever since she was the mother on How I Met Your Mother. And so I adore her. Nick Offerman, obviously, from Parks and Rec. William Jackson Harper, who I fucking love. One of my favorite shows of all time, The Good Place.
Mm-hmm.
He played Chidi, I believe, on that.
Fucking hilarious.
And Amber Rivera, among others. This is due out July 28th.
On Peacock, right?
I believe so. This is on Peacock. But with that being said, hopefully this shit works, because this shit has been acting kind of stupid with me as of late. So let's see if this works.
So, what brings you to Tacumar? Vacation? Family kids?
Oh, no kids. That ship has sailed. It's our
Yeah,
10-year
they're getting
anniversary.
audio. We just
Safety, as they will get you everything you need.
Oh, even heroin?
Sorry?
Just joking.
That's a bad joke.
sorry.
To forget who I am.
No work, no stress, no regrets. When would you see where this leads us?
This phone belonged to a kid who went missing down here 15 years ago.
That's the first problem. You don't pick shit up.
It belonged to Sam Wofford. Sam and his mom and his dad and his girlfriend arrived at this resort on Christmas night. But then the next morning, he's gone. Later on, this other guest from the resort was also reported missing.
Do you want to get out of here?
My daughter wanted to spend Christmas here,
Shit, he's from.
but she didn't want to spend it with me.
We found a boy skateboarding.
You ever feel like something from the past is missing from your future?
I'm gonna get some answers.
Hey, come back here!
But what if there aren't any answers?
Well, there have to be. Because otherwise, what is the fucking point?
Is that a prelude to what the fuck's the point in life in our relationship? Like, she's kind of coming at him there.
She's
That looks good.
yeah.
I don't actually. I never remember his name. I just call him Cheaty. Like, I fucking love him, man. Like, he's fucking hilarious, and I can see whatever role he's gonna end up having in this. I just know it's gonna be comedic gold.
Yeah, for sure. And I actually love, like I said, Christine. I believe I'm pronouncing her name right, but I'm probably not. Milioti, and she did a movie with Andy Samberg not too long ago, and now I'm blanking on the name of it. But her comedic timing, I think, is great. So I think whoever she gets paired with, and I think they have a great pairing there between the two of them.
Palm Springs.
Great movie, by the way. I enjoyed it a lot more than I was originally thinking I was going to do. But yeah, I feel like the whole cast for this looks dope as fuck. And I feel like they're coming up with these like little like mini series type of shows of recent that they have like all these people who are just like, this is like got a fucking nice little crew here. You got
like these networks have like started doing this where it's like, oh, it's a limited series.
Yeah,
it's almost
like
as if
ensemble.
like instead of like paying the big bucks to just do a whole movie, hey, let's bring in these characters, make it into a little mini series, spread it out as long as we can. I actually enjoy it.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
Yeah,
and you're right. The cast is really nice. Like Ben Sinclair, the guy, the kid I was talking about, Skylar Gisando, he plays Sam in this. He was on Santa Clarita Diet. I don't know if you ever watched that.
No, I've been trolling around with starting it.
Oh man, it's hilarious, especially when you get like halfway through season 1. It really picks up. He did fantastic in that. But yeah, William Jackson. William Jackson Harper? Yeah, the guy who played Chidi in Good Place. Man, love him. He is just hilarious in everything that I've seen him. Christine Milioti, I haven't seen her as far as I know in a whole lot, but I'll take your word for it if she's good.
Like if you ever watch How I Met Your Mother, she plays a pretty significant role in that at the end of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember her now.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, this will work. This will work.
Yeah. So that is
coming out.
The Resort. The 28th is when it drops.
Yeah, we're gonna watch this.
Yeah, July 28th. All right, let's move forward with our next trailer. We got 3 of them here. So we got Amsterdam. So this is set in the 30s. It follows 3 friends who witness a murder, become suspects themselves, and uncover one of the most outrageous plots in American history. This is directed by David O. Russell. This is his grand return. Written by O. Russell as well. Stars Margot Robbie, Anna Taylor-Joy, Christian Bale, Robert De Niro, the heavy hitters, amongst other people. And this is due out November 4th or I guess expected November 4th of this particular year. Let's check out Amsterdam. I don't know why I can't fucking say the word Amsterdam because I want to keep saying
lovely place.
I don't know if I'm trying to say Hamsterdam for the Wire purposes, but yeah. Did you ever watch The Wire?
I mean, yes, but I don't know if I know the reference.
Well, you must not have watched it all of The Wire then, because that in season 3, I think 3 or 4.
Yeah,
it's
dude,
pretty
I was a
prominent.
kid, man. And I barely spoke English,
it.
so yeah.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
I also lived in the city, and they were filming like right around the block. So
nice. Well, you should have got what the fuck I said then.
I should have. Yeah.
All right, let's watch it.
Harold, I don't know what you think you're doing. Excuse me. Hello. Got a dead white man in a box. Not even a casket. Doesn't even have a top on it. In a pine box of old wood. Who do you think's gonna get in trouble here?
Do me a favor. Try to be optimistic. You don't get here without things starting a long time ago. So, 2 soldiers and a nurse found ourselves in
Amsterdam.
We formed a pact, and we swore to protect each other, no matter what.
Tax the rich.
We find ourselves in a situation where we're accused of killing someone, which is not true.
You and Woodman fled the scene. The killer pointed at us.
We didn't do anything. Why would you possibly think that was us?
Well, there's not too many people that fit the description of a doctor looking for his eye on the ground with his black attorney.
Columbia Law School.
Life is funny. We need someone to help us to find the truth.
My friend was killed because of something monstrous that he had seen.
This is all turning out to be a lot larger than any of us.
You're gonna have to take my lead getting out of this. I had to stab a guy. I had to hit a lady with a brick one time.
What?
It's a long story, but with you two, it'll be a cakewalk.
These are dangerous times.
You be careful.
I'm about to do something that could cost me my life.
The cuckoo is in the nest, and the cuckoo's about to be trapped.
Cuckoo?
This is one of the finest innovations from Zurich. It removes all pain. Guys like me, we have to turn to booze, the morphine, and that can lead to addiction. Oh, that's fast. That's advantage.
Yeah, so I recently got this new product that I use.
Yeah.
It's more of like a topical kind of thing.
Oh,
and
Jesus
the other
Christ.
day I used it, and so I put it on. I like walked to the kitchen, and I walked back, and like the girls looked at me, and they were like, "What are you doing with your eye?" I was like, "I don't know, but I can feel it."
Jesus,
like my eye was like doing something weird.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta be careful with that shit, man.
That's
You
okay.
start.
I'm young.
Yikes. Whenever somebody's answer, that's somebody's answer. Yo, hold on. Let's slow down here, guys. Let's figure some things out. Yo, that shit looked awesome, man. David O. Russell. Now he's a little bit of a controversial figure in, in Hollywood. But I think I don't think there's a doubt that his work is very much appreciated.
This is a huge cast, man.
Yeah, I mean, but
Yeah, who
only
paid for
certain,
this?
yeah, I know, right? Where'd you find the budget for this? But there's only certain directors that can get people out like this, right? And so, but David O. Russell has done it over the course of years, right? Like where you go from Silver Lining Playbook to American Hustle, and you kind of see the beginnings of this, right? This sort of like ensemble cast, even like Three Kings, right?
Even for smaller movies like Joy.
Yeah, where you get just like this fucking cast of just. Now, again, David O. Russell.
I know.
There are a lot of not kind things that people say that both the experiences with him as well as just like how he is on set. I'm not saying that any of those are right or wrong.
I wasn't there.
All I can say though is that the product that he does put out though, every time he puts out a film,
good, man.
at least of recent. It's usually pretty.
My only concern with like films like this, and albeit maybe David O. Russell aside, because he seems to generally hit when he brings in such a large ensemble cast. But a lot of times when you get a large ensemble cast, man, like the movie sometimes falls flat. Most recently, Death on the Nile. Yeah, I couldn't get into it, man. Like I tried.
Was that him?
No, it wasn't him. I'm just
sorry.
saying, it's like when you bring in like such a large ensemble cast, like sometimes it can really miss. And my only fear with this, and again, his track record speaks for itself, but I'm just hoping what we just saw in the trailer wasn't all the like good bits of. Did we just catch all of the comedy and now we just have to deal with whatever the drama and the whole storyline is, or are we gonna get more? So I'm curious, but this looked good.
Yeah. And look. Back to just his, issues. Now that I'm reading, I basically just heard that he was just like being a dick on set.
Pretty much what I heard,
but apparently there's sexual misconduct situations where he was getting into it with Lily Tomlin, where he just called her a bunch of like sexist names. Yeah, he's a piece of shit. What are we gonna do here? But again, this is the debate that we're having with a lot of people, right? Which is can we separate the art from the artist? I don't fucking know. I don't know if there's a good answer to this fucking question. All I know is that
I am the guy who doesn't separate it. I will stop watching shit when I know something about you. Like I've done it.
Yeah,
I've got
examples. I need them.
HBO got rid of all of HBO just because of fucking what's his name the talk show host guy. Why can't I think of his name now?
Oh, Bill Maher.
Yeah, Bill Maher. Like just progressively just started hating more of his stuff. His
well, that's because you hate it. Well, also HBO was pushing you towards.
Yeah,
that.
they were. And he just like recently,
that wasn't all about Bill Maher.
Yeah. Let's see.
I'm talking about like a movie that you love, but that the person's a piece of shit.
Yeah. See, I don't know about that. Off the top of my head, I don't know if I can think of something like that.
Well, I could think of something.
Okay, so Gran Torino, for example. Love Gran Torino.
Dude, I don't know,
was
man.
kind of a piece of shit.
Going
man.
back and examining Gran Torino, I feel like that was just an exercise in him being able to just
call
people
absolutely.
fucking names and just
Absolutely.
Oh, but I redeemed myself at the end, guys. It's fine.
I like the movie. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And he showed it in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I off the top of my head, I can't think of maybe.
I mean, that was a good example. I'm not gonna hate on that example. No, but I'm saying, but kind of like the opposite, where it's just like you actually do abandon the thing because you love.
Yeah, I see. I don't know. Maybe with directors, it's a little bit easier to like kind of like separate yourself, just because like it's
is it though? Because you're
if,
seeing their vision. Ultimately.
I know, but if you go into it, so like if you didn't tell me that this was David O. Russell, I may have not even like realized it if I just put it on like Netflix. I generally like wouldn't read the cast and everything. I just kind of go based off of okay, the trailer looks all right. Sure. I'll watch it, maybe not even notice it, but maybe it's a little bit easier for me to divorce the director, maybe even the production company itself if they did something shady from the actual visual that I'm seeing. But if it's the actor involved, it's a little like I don't know how much more Amber Heard movies I'm gonna watch after her performance. Not that her performances in the past movies were great anyway.
I feel like I already made my feelings about Amber Heard very clear, but I'm not gonna stop watching a movie because fucking Amber Heard's in it. Like that to me sounds preposterous. Like
you watching some Kevin Spacey movies anytime soon?
No, I can't say. I can't say. Although I guess, but again, if you go back and you watch like fucking The Unusual Suspects, right?
Yeah.
Can you really be like, I'm not gonna watch this because fucking Kevin Spacey's it? If you go back and watch Seven, I can't go back and watch Seven
new
now.
Movies, how about that?
New movies?
No, fuck no.
I cannot justify that.
I'll watch 21. He's an asshole in that too, So it's like
21.
The gambling one.
Oh, okay.
Counting cards and
gotcha.
Vegas and stuff.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Not that great of a movie.
Yeah, no, that's why I was like, okay, yeah.
It's just the first one that came to mind. Like,
we can get rid of that one.
Yeah,
it's fine. No, but like, if I go back and watch Seven, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, Seven's not a fucking masterpiece of a fucking movie. Like, what am I?
Yeah, of course.
That'd be come on, and also too, movies more than just any one person, except for the director, which it's their vision. So it's like that's why I feel like the opposite of you, where I feel like it's actually more like I'm seeing more of the director's hand in it than any one actor.
I mean, there's been like what's his name, Norton, the actor,
Ed Norton.
Yeah, Ed Norton. Like he hasn't like done anything like bad or anything. He's just had this like reputation of just kind of being an asshole after he got his what did he win did he win an Academy Award for something? I can't remember. But he ended up having this like reputation like to be on set where it's like, okay, this is the script. Now I want to start changing things because I am Edward Norton. Like he just has that reputation.
Sure you have that right, Edward Norton?
Yeah.
Ed Norton.
All right. Now we have maybe I don't know. Ed Norton. Yeah. No, shit, it wasn't Ed Norton.
Yeah, I was like Ed Norton, like the actor. I know he's directed some stuff.
It was absolutely Ed Norton.
Really?
Yeah, I'm almost 100% confident. Yeah, and he ended up winning a Golden Globe and he had an Academy Award nomination. But yeah, he has his now reputation where it's like nobody really wants to work with him anymore just because he's an asshole. And after I saw the little documentary that they had about him, where it just like all this came out, it kind of made me look at him a little bit differently.
In terms of negatively.
Yeah, negatively. Just if I know you're an asshole.
But you wouldn't go as far as to say you're not going to watch an Edward Norton
for something for him. Probably I'll still watch it. Mm-hmm. Kevin Spacey. No, I'm just not watching your shit. It's just not happening. Not the new shit. At least.
Exactly. So
we're going forward to the new stuff.
That's my sticking point. Is that I feel what people mean is that what people mean is that. For all of your work, it should be sort of discounted because.
I know we're in Baltimore, but are they still shooting fireworks or are they just shooting?
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's still fireworks,
right,
but you never know. I don't know. This is a really good question, and I should have a very simple answer to it.
You can't until you get to.
I don't fucking have it.
Yeah.
I really do feel like for everybody, it's just a judgment on how much you actually like the fucking work. Because there are a lot of people who say no, you should completely abandon the thing, but then you bring up somebody who's like, hey, here's this person who's got a questionable thing, and they really like them. And it's like, well, I don't know. Here's why this person didn't really do something bad, or like, I don't know. They didn't get convicted, so who knows? And it's like, well, also OJ didn't get convicted too, but yet we fucking know. We know how that fucking turns out.
Let's just see how many Browns fans show up once Watson starts.
All of them. It's Cleveland. They have no other choice. They have nothing else going on in the fucking
we
town.
Lose always.
We're
just gonna go.
They need something. Okay. Have you ever driven through fucking? I was just talking to Carol.
Actually, I have, and I actually pulled into a vegan spot. It's
the most depressing place on the planet.
It's like it's Cleveland, next to like driving through the worst parts of like Detroit, which I've done. And I'm like, it is bad. Like, what do you guys have? No wonder a team left.
Yo, Jesus Christ. So I went through Cleveland once. This is when I was like really young. This is like my early 20s. maybe even not even that. But I remember going through Cleveland, and it was like noon, and it was like in the middle of like a Monday, and it was just like, yo, I swear to God, the town looked like it looked abandoned.
Yeah.
It looked like
it really does.
Like I thought I saw tumbleweed fucking flowing through the street. It was disturbing. I felt like it was just like the after effects of like like the what's the Will Smith movie and fucking come on, the zombie movie.
Oh, I Am Legend.
I Am Legend. I felt like I was in a scene from fucking I Am Legend
Yo.
where like the fucking shit just broke loose and everybody's like, all right, I'm getting inside.
I don't recommend driving cross country, but remember when I did?
Yeah.
Yo, there was like parts of like Nevada when you were driving through like the desert.
Yeah.
And you have like little towns. Yo, like I thought Tremors were gonna come out, like the whatever they were called in the movie Tremors.
Tremors,
That's just what it looked like. It looked like Paradise, Nevada. Like
Yeah.
yo, it was bad. But no,
Yeah.
I agree. The one thing I will say is good and bad. Cleveland does have like a very urban revival now going, where they have a lot of
Does it?
people coming in, changing it. Unfortunately, it's a lot of gentrification, pushing other people out, and then making it
as
their
the story
own,
goes, for sure.
As
yeah.
it just kind of seems like it's everywhere. But yeah, because for me to get to that like one vegan spot as I was driving cross country, I
Yeah.
had to go through like the worst parts of Cleveland.
Gross.
So
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this is bad.
Yeah,
Like,
sorry if you're a listener in Cleveland, man. I just I just remember the most depressed I think I've ever been in my life was.
But hey, you had Bernie Kosar at some point. There you go.
Who the fuck is Bernie Kosar?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
He was
Is that
actually
a-
one of the better
athletes?
quarterbacks, in the league that just didn't get the right.
I remember the name. I
recognition.
just don't. I have nothing to attach it to.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the Browns quarterback.
No, you're looking at me as if I'm saying you're wrong. I do remember the name. I just
Yeah,
cannot.
He made up his plays like on the field.
I just immediately
It's like,
got.
you run a post, you run a slant, and we're gonna get this touchdown. and we're gonna go home.
Shout out to Bernie. I guess he got out when the getting was good.
Yeah.
Didn't fucking
I'm gonna
Cleveland.
check that real quick.
All right.
Go ahead.
All right, let's move on to our last trailer. So this is Emily, the Criminal, and starring one of my favorite actresses, actually, Aubrey Plaza. Weird actresses, but definitely
she's
she's
awesome, man.
really good at her craft. So down on her luck and saddled with debt, Emily gets involved in a credit card scam that pulls her into a criminal underworld of Los Angeles, ultimately leading to deadly consequences. This is directed and written by John Patton Ford, starring Aubrey Plaza, Theo Rosie, Jonathan Avi Grody. Sorry if I get your name wrong. As well as Kim Yarbrough, among others. This is due out August 12th of this particular year. Let's check out Emily the Criminal.
So, if you had some money, what would you do?
I just want to be able to experience things. I just want to be free. Hi. I paid $400 and it was never applied to my balance. Sorry, how much interest is being added a month? How are you? I need a real job. Just to like pay my loans.
Emily, yo, let me hook you up. Let me see your driver license.
In the next hour, you will make 200 cash, but you will have to do something illegal. You won't be in danger, but you will be breaking the law.
Yo, you gonna pay for that?
Sorry?
I said, are you gonna pay for that?
My God. Sorry, man.
Tomorrow, you have the option to do another job, okay?
What do I have to do? You make that much selling TVs.
Sometimes TVs, sometimes other things.
You could show me how to do it.
None of this is safe. But if you listen to exactly what I say, you'll be fine.
Hello? Yeah, it's still available. 1 second.
Yeah? You're scared of me?
Yes.
Jesus. Tense.
Hey,
Dang.
get out of the car! We're serious people. They should be scared of us.
You told me it was a one-time thing with her.
I want my cut.
I just lost everything!
People just keep taking from you until you make the goddamn rules yourself. Wait.
You know what my mistake really was? I didn't go far enough.
This is when Lily Collins comes back from Paris, and she's like, "Fuck it, America's got nothing for me. I'm committing crimes now. I'm Emily the criminal, not Emily in Paris."
Yeah, I mean, you got to keep up with the other Joneses somehow.
Now, that
right?
actually looked pretty dope, man.
Yeah, Aubrey Plaza. She like her last few movies have been fucking Black Bear, fucking awesome, man. Great fucking. I almost put it on my list.
The premise was like, it was nice, man.
I didn't even. I still don't know if I understand exactly what the fucking premise of that movie is.
That's kind of like
it's a very confusing movie. But her last few movies, I almost put Black Bear on my list of like favorite movies of all time. I'm making this so. I gotta say, shout out to my guy John. Met him a few weeks ago. Actually, my partner was trying to kind of connect us for a while, and it just so happened that we met at this gathering, and I basically. We were talking and, we exchanged information. One of the things that I was supposed to do was deliver to him a top 10 list of my favorite movies ever.
That's a lot.
And
10,
because what he explained to me was that, I know, right? Which is why what I'm about to tell you is going to be no shocker. What he was trying to explain to me was that he had been making not necessarily films, but I guess a lot of commercial stuff, but. And now he's starting into more narrative things. But what he realized is that he never really watched movies. That was never really his thing.
Okay, yeah.
And so one of his friends basically gave him a list of that he was going to shoot something for. Gave him a list of hey, here are things that are can speak to the thing that we're going to shoot. But I think that might have been mixed in with some stuff that here's some shit that I think is dope.
Right.
So he gave him a link to or I guess the credentials for Criterion, which has all the fucking old movies and shit that. And so I decided to make a list, but then I was like, I don't think I can do a top 10 list of my favorite movies.
Yeah,
it's impossible.
Tough,
It's basically impossible to make a top 10 list of my favorite movies.
I honestly think it'd be easier if you just select 5 favorites versus.
So that's kind of what I ended up doing, except for that went from 10 to 20, and then that 20 ended up being 30. 30 movies basically. I was like, I'm drawing the line at 30, right? So literally, this is weeks later. I'm still working on this fucking list. But
you're gonna send him an email. He's like, "Who the fuck's
it's just, it's gonna be a year later. He's not gonna know who the fuck I am. But he Black Bear almost made that list, but that just is a testament to it literally from one of the movies one of the greatest movies I think I've ever watched. I feel like Black Bear is. The only reason why I stopped me from putting it on a list was it's just too soon.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just I haven't wrestled with it too long enough to call it one of the best movies I've ever watched.
Nah, man, because you're gonna keep getting more.
Yeah, I just gotta watch it to get. No, you have to have a cutoff, right? And you know what a good exercise should be is me just going through all these movies, just you know what? Fuck the rest of the things we're gonna talk about. I'm gonna throw at you the list of these movies, and then that's how we'll end the podcast. And you'll yay or nay any of these movies. Maybe you haven't watched them. But spoiler alert for John, in case you're listening to this before. Doubtful that you would be listening to this.
No, it's cool because you've been waiting for the list, so here it is.
Well, he's probably not going to hear this podcast before I actually deliver the list of them. But let me make sure I pull it up here. Give me 1 sec, and then I know it's gonna be a very long fucking night for me. I'm sorry, dude.
No, it's cool, man. It's just hot in here.
Yeah, well, I would turn the AC on, but
nah, don't.
Yeah. Okay. No, you know what? This is stuck in an email. That's what it's stuck in. Here we go.
You emailing it? What you doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to email it because I was thinking of what is the best way to send this. Oh, I'm not emailing it to you. I'm emailing it to him, but it's stuck in my emails. Okay. And this is in generally no particular order except for this first film. I think I don't know if it's necessarily my favorite movie of all time, but it's the movie that had the most impact on me, I think, emotionally speaking.
I'm trying to think because I feel like you've told me.
Ooh, if you got this one, I'd be like, holy shit, you fucking know me.
Ooh, let's skip that one real quick.
Okay, let's skip it.
Think.
All right, starting with the next one on the list, The Color Purple.
Okay, I have not watched it.
Yeah.
Very specific reason. I was seeing this girl at the time, black girl, and she was talking about it, and she kept telling me that I will just not feel about the movie the same way that she does.
No, of course not.
Yeah, right, which was kind of like
but
my
it's not.
point.
I don't think it's because she's okay.
We
Partly
just
because
ended up
she's
having
black.
like a, not a
conversation on its own. Yeah, sure.
It just led somewhere else, and then we just stopped talking. I was like, you know what?
Sure.
I'm not watching this movie.
Yeah. No, but I would say that for nostalgic reasons, meaning that like my relationship with The Color Purple, the reason why it's even on this list isn't even because I think it's like the best movie. I think it's just I saw it at a particular time and I watched it over and over, and it just hit a certain way. The next one, I don't know if you've even ever heard of this movie, The Monster Squad.
No.
Classic fucking 80s kind of B movie
I was gonna say,
situation.
it sounds like an 80s movie.
Fucking love it. It's the best. You've definitely heard of this one, The Lost Boys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Has to be on my list. This next movie, I don't know if you ever heard of. You might have. I might have talked to you about it the time before, but She's Having a Baby.
Oh, you've talked about it. I have not seen
with Kevin
it.
Bacon. I fucking adore this movie.
I have seen it.
I adore that movie so
it's
much.
a very nice movie.
John Hughes. Shout out to John Hughes. It's a John Hughes movie.
Mm-hmm.
Next one on the list, classic, Coming to America.
Yep.
Have to have it. Gotta have it on the list.
Still gotta show that movie to the girls. I don't know if they'll get all the references.
They won't. They definitely won't. The next movie on the list, I think, is the greatest movie of all time. Not because it's my favorite movie, and not because it even had the greatest impact on me. Because it's like I think what he was able to do here as the director, there's just nothing lacking in this movie. Goodfellas, I think, is the best movie of all time in my eyes.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think that there's been a movie that I've watched that has been both technically sound as well as thematically sound as well as just everything across the board you don't miss with this movie.
Yeah, I don't think you can really. This kind of brings me back to like the conversation that we had a little while ago about like greatest rappers of all time, and my like point was like if you just completely exclude Rakim, it'd be the same thing. Like you can't exclude the movie, you just can't. Like it really can land on anybody's top list of all time, greatest movies. So I can roll with that one.
Terminator 2.
Really?
I think the greatest. So what I was thinking,
it more nostalgic or like did you like really enjoy like just every aspect?
No,
I
think it's the greatest. Okay. One of the greatest action movies of all time. It literally still holds up, and we're like 3 decades past when it came out. I was trying to think of like, okay, I can't just fill this shit with like cheesy fucking 80s action movies, right? So I was like, what's the one action movie from the 80s that is just like above reproach? It's fucking T2. There's just
I can see it.
If you can name to me an action movie from like the 80s or 90s that is better than this.
No, because there was so much cheese going around back then. Like that really T2 does hit.
The story, the action, the fucking graphics, the CGI that they used. Everything about the movie is fucking insanely good.
Yeah, I do want to say that I feel like I know your top movie, and it's on the tip of my tongue. And it's several words.
I would argue that I used to say that I have a favorite movie that I used to say a lot. That is, I think it's been kind of replaced a little bit, but I'm still the movie that might have replaced
we'll keep
it.
Going. I'm gonna try to think of this one.
Malcolm X is the next one on the list. I think I didn't really appreciate it when I first watched it when I was a kid, just because my dad would pull out that double VHS set, and I'd be like, I'm not spending the next 4 hours of my life watching fucking Malcolm X. But as an adult, I adore this movie. Spike Lee was just he was as
when did that actually come out?
Malcolm X, I think it's like 93, 94, maybe somewhere around there. I think that's when I'm pretty sure it was like 93. I think Malcolm X.
Yeah, I think so too.
Let me double check that.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Is that not it?
Not it, but it's definitely on the list. Though. It's definitely on the list.
I really thought I knew it.
Yeah. No, that was it. That was a good one. You close.
I listen.
Close.
Now pay attention to my friends. I don't know what Rain's favorite movie is, but it's okay. I'll get there.
Yeah, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is definitely on the list. Radio Flyer is the next one on the list. I just rewatched this movie the other day. Cried like a fucking baby.
What was it?
I cried like a baby. Radio Flyer.
Radio Flyer.
Yeah, starring a very young Elijah Woods. It actually, I just realized that she was the same lady from fucking Goodfellas, the same woman, and I forget her name. She was also in Sopranos. I don't know why I forget her name. Yeah, it's like her name's on the tip of my tongue too. I just
Lorraine?
can't remember. Is that what it is?
Yeah, her first name was Lorraine something. Pretty sure.
I don't know. Anyways, but Radio Flyer if you ever want to put a movie on and just have me cry like a fucking kid.
Because like I remember him in like The Faculty, and
he was
young.
When
was this?
He was a kid. This was and this was like kind of a young-ish, not a young Tom Hanks, but a not old Tom Hanks, even though he's
this
old.
was pre like Forrest Gump and like all that.
This was around the same time, sort of. This
Damn,
is like
he
maybe
would have been like really young.
This is like right before Forrest Gump.
Yeah, so Elijah Wood would have been really young. Okay.
Elijah Wood was
I don't know this movie.
He was like 10, I think, when this movie when he made this movie. Next one. What's Love Got to Do with It?
Oh, really?
One of the most impactful movies in my life because it
I
basically
like the movie. I like
it. Let's just say the movie had a lot of themes in it that we in our lives at the time found very comparable, and this movie just hit a little different than others.
I can see it.
So what's Love
I
Got
see
to Do
the
with
smile on your face.
Yeah, I wouldn't be smiling if I was watching the movie, but next movie clearly have this on the list. Friday.
Of course,
you gotta have Friday on the fucking list.
Only Friday.
I just watched like a briefly like a little bit of a thing on YouTube where the people in it were like, "How have we never watched Friday?" I'm like, "Well, because all of you are white. Like, there's no other explanation for how you have not seen Friday. If there's if you're black and you've never seen Friday, just don't tell people. Don't tell anybody that."
So I can actually like really attest to this because like me growing up in the States, like I had a lot of black friends, whereas in like my older brother, for example, hung out with all the like foreign kids. Yeah. So like he had never seen Friday until like maybe like 10 years ago or something like that. Whereas in like maybe within the first year of me being in the States, that was like my exposure to black culture was Friday.
You have to, dude.
Yeah, it was nice.
It's the quintessential. It still holds up. Like I can't say too much for the sequels, but the original Friday, it is a fucking classic.
Yeah, how do you actually feel about the sequels? Because
I hate them.
To me, they're not terrible.
But that's to me why I hate them.
But they're just not like the original. Yeah,
you know, I mean, I'd sooner you could just not have the sequels and I'd be perfectly fine.
Yeah, there was something like about the original. It was just raw. You had an aesthetic to it.
It wasn't even. It was everything. It was the aesthetic. It was the story. It was everything. Felt really organic and true to itself, whereas the sequels felt like, oh shit, we had success. Let's try to like mimic some of the things we did without really appreciating the frankness that we had with that.
The one crazy thing about the movie that I remember learning was because they had like almost no budget, they couldn't afford basically to keep people like on set while they waited for the weather to match, you know, like the same exact day that it was supposed to be. They had to like get like super creative, and like at times they would just stop filming altogether and be like, "Hey, we can't pay you guys anymore. So if you want to get the rest of your check, come back in like 2 weeks."
Yeah. But shit,
great movie,
shit
man. Great
paid
movie.
Fucking dividends. The next one. I think the movie that at least in my catalog is one of the probably going to end up being one of the most influential on me in terms of just like where I go with in terms of filmmaking, but one that I haven't studied nearly as much as I need to, which is Heat.
The Al
Pacino, Robert De Niro, Michael Mann,
95 or something.
One of the topics we were going to talk about tonight, but we're just going to have to scrap it, is that they're coming out with the sequel.
Yeah.
And I didn't fucking even know they had it because there's a book, and they came out with the Heat 2 as a book.
I remember reading that, not that specific. I'm gonna lose my words here. That post that you had up, the rundown. But I remember reading when they first announced it.
Yeah.
And I hated the fact that they called it Heat 2.
Stupid.
Like
call it literally anything else. Yeah.
Like even take like a reference from the original movie. Like there was that one part where he's telling her where he's like within like if you can't get out within 30 seconds, why didn't you call it 30 seconds? Like just call it something like that. You know, like
Heat is what a fucking masterpiece. This movie,
it's a great movie.
Words don't express how much I fucking love this movie, man. And it came out at the heart of like the whole fucking. You know, whether we're talking about gangster movies or we're talking about just action movies, it's just this like fucking gem of a movie.
I recently watched it back, right before I canceled HBO.
Yeah,
I watched it back and I remember
that's just on HBO. Nice. No, when did you cancel HBO? It can't be recent.
Because I watched it maybe like 4 weeks ago or something.
Because I'm gonna have to go rent this shit.
I'll have to go see. I've watched it recently, so I'll let you know.
So this next movie, I just adore this entire series, but there are 2 movies of this series on this list, but it's my favorite trilogy of all time, hands down. There's not even a debate about it. The Before Sunrise series.
Yeah, I remember talking about
Before Sunrise. Again, words can't really express how much I fucking adore this movie. The next movie, I used to call it my favorite movie of all time, just because it's a fucking weird movie, and I don't know why I love it. I just watched the other day. I fucking still love it. The Fifth Element. I don't know why. I don't know why this was for the longest time.
I'm still like, I like the movie, but it's not in my
No,
top
I don't really
anything.
get it. I don't really get it either, dude. It just has this weird combination.
It is fun though.
Of it's fun, and it just has everything in it that I'm looking
the
for out of a movie.
cameos by like some of the people that you get in it.
Yeah,
that aren't
Chris
main
Tucker's a
characters.
fucking force in it.
Yeah.
The music in it is fucking awesome. It's such a great soundtrack, score as well. It's just something about the movie, but I feel like it's been usurped by. I don't know if you've watched it yet, but Everything Everywhere All at Once.
No, I haven't seen
it.
It yet, no.
Might have taken the spot. I don't know. I'm still waiting. It's Everything Everywhere All at Once isn't even on the list, but I'm purposely keeping it off because I watched it twice, still feel the same way about it, but I need to give it a little bit more
just
time.
want to make sure Fifth Element's not your number one that we skipped
No,
over.
it's not.
Okay,
It's
good.
not. Yeah, that's still coming up.
We're good.
The next one on the list, Memento.
Okay. Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan. I feel like I have to have, and there's another Christopher Nolan movie on here that which you'll not appreciate, but Memento had to go on there because I feel like it's one of his. I feel like all of his movies are pretty fucking creative. Memento was like the kind of the launching point for that. City of God, which is it's a foreign film, I believe Brazilian. It might be. I might be wrong about that.
I don't think I know it.
But it's just basically about these like gangs and this guy who gets sort of caught up in sort of the 2 gangs. It's fucking awesome. Anchorman, just watched that the other day. Fucking classic. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is next. Before Sunset, which is the sequel to Before Sunrise. I love that. The Diving Bell and the Butterfly, which is another foreign film. But I don't know, yeah. But I love that. It has the fucking what's his name? Now I'm gonna forget the guy's name. It's like Jean-Luc something whatever or another. But anyways, so basically it's about this guy, and I feel like it was actually a true story. But
you're talking about the guy who played in The Professional, Leon the Professional.
No. I'll give you this guy's exact name because I definitely butchered it. This would be. I was way off. Matthew Amalric.
Okay, yeah. Not even close.
But so in the movie, it was like Dominique Babu or something like that. That was his name. So I think I was just mixing up the two. But anyways, basically it's about this dude who he's living this like great life. Everything's going well, and then all of a sudden, I guess he has a stroke. Basically that there's this thing called a locked in syndrome where basically the only thing he can fucking really do is just move his eyes. And so it's just like this fucking sweet story about how he kind of goes through life thereafter and about love. And
is it in English or subtitled?
No, subtitled.
Okay.
I'm trying to
prefer that when it's a foreign film, honestly.
Yeah, Arain definitely has like a thing about like foreign films. I don't really understand that. I fucking love them. Especially like if you find one. But anyways, I'm not going to get into the whole thing. But I believe I'm going to say it's French, if I'm remembering correct. I'm pretty sure it's French. It's a French film. But I adore that movie. I just remember like watching it originally. I just randomly caught it on like.
Yeah.
I was watching like fucking like Showtime or something like that. I don't know why I was watching Showtime, but I just randomly caught it one day and I was just like,
part of your Comcast subscription. That's what it is.
No, this is like way back in the days. Not way back in the day, but like 2010s, early 2010s, somewhere around there.
That's what Comcast did back then.
Fair enough.
Sign up, you get 3 months of it.
3 months of it. Probably. Yeah, that's probably exactly what the fuck happened. Ruby Sparks.
Really?
I fucking
That's a great movie.
Love this movie so much. And shout out to Zoe. What's her name? Zoe. I keep wanting to say Kravitz just because we always fucking talk about Zoe Kravitz, but Zoe Zeldon. Not Zoe Zeldon. What's her name? Jesus Christ! Why can't I remember anything ever?
Zoe Kazan.
Kazan. Yes.
I knew it was a K, but I was like, it's not Kravitz.
I think right? She wrote it, and if I'm not mistaken, she directed it. That might be a stretch to say that she directed it, but it's a fucking great movie. Paul Dano's in it.
No, Jonathan Dayton and Valerie Ferris
directed it, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah. She wrote it though.
Paul Dano.
Paul Dano is a fucking monster, dude.
And like,
he's so good.
and really in this though,
Yeah.
it's like I don't know what he did really before this. Anything.
This
like,
was the one.
This was like it. Like you saw his.
I guess you could argue like Little Miss Sunshine is sort of where he kind of cut his teeth a little bit, but
this was
one
really
was the
his
one.
coming out.
This
honestly,
was the next one on the list. I think it's hard for me to watch. So I've only watched it like a few times, but it's just the impression that it's left on me is fucking immense. Beast of No Nation is a fucking incredible movie, dude. I just like if you want to watch a movie that just breaks your heart from the first fucking frame to like the last.
It's interesting because I've only actually seen it once. But it's a great movie.
I can't. I've only watched it like twice. Is 2, maybe even 3 times I've watched it. But usually I can watch movies like repeatedly. This one is so fucking hard for me to get through just because it's for one, it's dense, but then 2, it's so much. There's so much that happens in the fucking movie that's just like, oh God, I don't feel good about life after this. I feel terrible about life after this. The next one after this is Ex Machina.
Okay.
How do you
Ex
pronounce
Machina.
it? Machina. That's I
man.
knew that, and for some reason my brain is just like, no, say the wrong thing.
Yeah, large portions of that movie were filmed on a Black Magic camera.
Black Magic. Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, Ursa, Black Magic Ursa. I think,
okay.
yeah.
That's cool.
I don't know why I know that.
Yeah, that's a weird tidbit.
I remember when I was watching a movie, I was like,
cool.
Let me look some stuff up.
Yeah.
Yeah, great movie.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Oscar Isaac, fucking a force in there. And then it's kind of like the coming out party for
the actress.
What's her name? I keep wanting to say Ana de, but that's
it's
not
like
her. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, the next one, I know what I'm going to hear about this, but fair enough. Interstellar. It has to go on my list of favorite movies of all time.
So actually, I actually wanted to the other day, like was like going to be the day that I watched Interstellar again, and something happened. All right,
Fate intervened
because I was watching these insider experts like review scenes from movies.
Yeah.
Yo, this astronaut tore apart Interstellar. Like to the point where like the stuff that I was like, okay, I can like understand this to the one part where I would always say, spoiler alert, the next dimension that he ends up in.
Sure.
Where I'm like, now I kind of have to suspend a little bit of belief. Yo, the way he tore apart the science that they claimed in that, basically like none of that could like really be happening the way that they told the story.
Okay.
Which to me was like, oh damn, man, I really wanted to give this movie another shot. Now I'm gonna, if I do give it another shot, I already know I hate the ending.
Yeah.
Now I'm probably gonna be pointing out all the other stuff that is just not realistic about this.
Hey, fair enough. Still fucking love the movie. Okay. Okay. The next one after that, when I watched this movie, man, the emotional impact that it had on me was fucking immense. Roma. I just remember watching that. Yeah. So it was Alfonso Cuarón, I believe, film. He came out with it. It came out. God damn it! It should have won the Oscar. It didn't win an Oscar. It was like 3-4 years ago.
Sorry.
Yes, that's her. Yes, that's her name. No, it's good. That's how shit happens, right? But Roma is just a beautifully quiet story that doesn't do anything flashy, but is so thoughtful and so specific.
Argentinian Spanish drama.
Yeah. It's just a beautiful fucking movie. This movie.
I'm gonna check this out.
It's fucking awesome. It's on Netflix. It's a Netflix movie. The next one after that, Comet. I fucking love this movie. The soundtrack.
Like
Justin
I said,
Long.
I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
It just wasn't. I didn't think it was the greatest thing ever.
And that's fair. But there's certain things in that movie.
I will say Justin Long was fantastic in it. Like there's no doubt about it. Like he
him and Emmy Rossum, I believe that's her name.
Emmy Rossum.
Rossum. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's Rossum.
Rossum.
I could be wrong.
They're fucking great in that movie together. Now it is a specific movie, meaning that like it kind of has the what's the director's name?
I have to look it up.
I know who the director of Comet is. Sam Esmail.
Okay.
I'm talking about a different movie altogether. Aaron Sorkin. It sort of has the Aaron Sorkin effect, where it's just like a lot of this dialogue is just not realistic, right? Like you don't have fucking people like going back and forth all the fucking time like this, right? But anyways, it's still this next movie again. One of these movies that just from the first fucking frame to the last fucking frame, fucking tears, right? Lion.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. I don't even know what it is about the movie, but something about the fucking movie is just,
I agree.
It's so fucking touching.
That hits you, man.
The next movie after that is A Ghost Story. Casey Affleck. Is it Rooney Mara? Do I have that right? Kate, it's not Kate Mara. It's, I believe, Rooney Mara. One of the Mara sisters. But it's just this like weird, quiet movie. It's from the same director of The Green Knight. And now I immediately forget his name, even though I'm trying to remember it.
Yeah, Rooney Mara.
Yeah. Because I forget the director's name for some reason. Ghost Story.
It was directed by David Lowery.
David Lowery, yes. Again, who directed...
Fantastic, man.
Yeah, he's a fucking great director, man. Yeah, The Green Knight. I was tempted to put Green Knight on here, but I was like, I don't know. I got to watch Green Knight a couple more times in order to call it that.
Really?
Yeah. Even though when I went fucking bananas when I first fucking watched
I remember.
it. It's such a great movie. Have you watched it?
No, but I remember you guys talking about it. And
it's
like,
an amazing movie.
Yeah. I'll have to check it out.
Weird movie, but amazing. Then the last one, not the last one on the list, the second to last one on the list is I'm No Longer Here, which is a movie on Netflix. Again,
fantastic.
another foreign film. Amazing fucking movie, dude.
I remember when you guys reviewed that.
Yeah.
And that's when I had heard about it from you guys, and I watched that. Yeah, that
it's
hits,
an
man.
Amazing
like that,
fucking movie.
Yo, the emotion that
oh my god
she goes through.
Yeah.
In that, it hits you.
It's an amazing fucking movie.
All right, number one.
Now
I'm curious.
The reason why this is on this list is because literally at the exact time we were talking about watching shows at certain times, I watched Mad Men, Breaking Bad back to back, and then somewhere either in the middle of all that or directly after that, I watched this movie, and I swear to God, for like the next like month, I was not the same person. It had such a profound effect on me just because I identified with not only the characters in the movie or some of the characters in the movie, but like especially speaking Moonlight. I'm not as high on Moonlight as everybody else. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know what it is about Moonlight. I think it's a great fucking movie. I'm not even trying to like confuse
that.
The
acting on it alone,
it's a great fucking
movie.
It? Yeah, it's beautiful. Just I don't know. It's not really.
I don't know, man. Like the anticipation. I'm trying to guess here. Like what is it?
Yeah, dude. I'm gonna string that out as long as I can. But technically speaking, I think the movie is a fucking masterpiece in terms of how the story is being told. And one of the things that I pulled from it specifically was the use of music and when to use music, but also perhaps maybe more importantly, when not to use music, I think is something that I pulled from here.
Trying to see if I can guess it with that little tidbit.
You won't be able to, I don't think. Because I don't think I've really even talked about this movie as much as I probably should. The movie is Raging Bull.
Really?
Raging Bull. I watched that movie again, like after watching Breaking Bad, Mad Men, and I was like in a state of mind. Yeah. But I watched this, and I swear to God, like I get to a certain, and I know the exact scene. So I get to the scene where he's in the jail cell, and he's fucking like punching the wall, and my heart just fucking explodes.
I mean, you can feel the raw emotion in that, man.
Oh my God, that scene, dude! I swear to God, dude, I was not the same after.
There are certain scenes in movies where it's not even that you just feel the emotion of the actor, because that's great enough, but it's like when it actually hits home when you've been to that point in your life where you just wanted to punch that wall,
and you're just like, you fucking idiot, like, and you're just, oh my God, dude, fuck.
Some of those movies were questionable, but I'm good with this one.
Yeah, Raging Bull has to be the one that's had the most profound effect on me, both from a technical standpoint, but as well as just an emotional standpoint. And I didn't watch it until like super fucking late. This was like maybe around like 2012, 2013, somewhere around there, maybe, maybe even a little later than that.
That's a good list, man. Like I'm actually intrigued to see some of the foreign films that you listed, because I haven't actually seen them.
I will stand by my fucking foreign films. In fact, I would argue that maybe some people maybe think some of the foreign ones I mentioned were probably a little bit too mainstream in terms of just like, oh, that's what everybody probably has on their fucking foreign films. So this is what I fucking watch. What do you want from me, you know? And that was like actually one of my fears of making this list for him, was that I felt like it wasn't, and that's why like in my email that I was going to send to him, that I still all I need to do is press send, and I just can't bring myself to do it.
I gotta perfect this.
It's been fucking weeks, dude, and I still
This
can't
guy's
just
in the
fucking
industry. Like, I need to impress him.
No, it's not even that he's in the industry and I need to impress him. More so that like, and this is like in my mind, this is what was going on, is that like there's two routes I could have gone with this list. I could have gone with a short top 10 list of just like the most like, if you're like a film nerd,
right?
These are the movies that you would like, right? And like they're
I would
super
not do
niche.
that. If I made mine, it would be me. Like,
Exactly, but that's what I ended up making was a list that's just like I fucking have Monster Squad on. There's nothing technically sound about Monster Squad. It's just the fuck. I just fucking adore the movie and I'm super nostalgic about it, right? And so that's what I felt myself doing as I was like beginning to make the list. Is like because he had mentioned Criterion, I was like, oh fuck, I gotta find like this like super like niche movies and like some shit that like nobody's really fucking heard of. It's like, nah. I like,
you know what's so super interesting about this? So like with Raging Bull, one of the recent like breakdown insider things that I watched was actually professional boxers rating movies.
Yeah,
and like he like agreed, like it's a fantastic movie, like the story.
I think for
itself,
boxing, it's kind of shit for boxing.
For the technical aspect of
it's definitely
boxing,
shit. Yeah,
fucking horrible.
Yeah, it's
like
shit. Yeah.
But the technicality of the actual film itself, I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah,
young Robert De Niro. I mean, like
super young.
The way he's just standing there taking those punches back and forth. It's like, and then at the end he's like, "Yo, I'm still standing.
Yeah.
I'm still." I don't know what the actual line was.
But weirdly enough, I feel like they weren't going for realism there. Like I feel like Scorsese was going for this exaggerated, kind of like kind of a strange depiction there. And yeah, like I just think that they were.
I think it's like "You Can't Get Me Down" or something like that. Whatever the line was at the end when he's.
Yeah, I know what you're talking. I can't remember the exact line myself, but just and with how, because it's not a short movie either. It's a decently like long movie. And it's it feels like it's like broken up. It feels like a mini movie or mini series that you're sort of watching, because you watch him through these different phases in life.
29 minutes.
Yeah, so it's not a short movie
but like some of the scenes though, they do get exaggerated.
Yeah, for sure,
especially in the ring.
100%. And I think that I feel like they did that on purpose, almost like in your face, like we're throwing in your face that we're exaggerating this for I guess the reason, at least for me, for the reasons of that. It was like he was like this mythical person, like in the ring, like but instead of depicting it as like, oh yeah, just like showing it that he was like Superman in the ring, it was just like, yo, we're just gonna exaggerate the fuck out of this, so you think like a larger than life character, but then you take a look at his life and how it's so fucking human, in terms of a lot of the shit that he went through personally, as well as like what he did to like other people,
No, I think honestly, Scorsese hit a really sweet balance with humanizing, this
but
like
making it feel
godlike
like this weird,
figure, but then also like just blowing up the world, so that way you understand exactly who he is in this profession of his life, and then who he is as just a regular person, as a family man. So I agree. Raging Bull is a fantastic movie. Side note, in that same thing that I was watching, one of the movies that the boxer said was just the most accurate depiction, specifically more of like the lead up to a fight, was Rocky. First Rocky movie.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind.
He was like, yeah, he did like everything exactly the way like anybody, especially at that time, the way you would train and
and now fuck. All right, fuck.
You gotta add to it.
God damn it.
Sorry,
because I fucking love Rocky. The first Rocky.
Get rid of Fifth Element. Just throw Rocky.
No, I can't do that. Dude, what am I going to get rid of from this list? God damn it. I wish you wouldn't have said that.
Honorable mention. How about that?
I can't. It's a list of 30. There is no such thing as honorable mention.
I feel like he's probably seen Rocky. Like, who hasn't seen Rocky at this point?
I don't know what he's seen. I don't know what he's seen or what he's not seen. So I'm acting as if he's not seen any of these movies, which I'm pretty sure he probably has. But I'm just throwing
just
him
send
on
a follow-up email. Oh, 31.
I weirdly enough, I actually think it's at 31 right now, and I have to figure out a movie to eliminate here. Yeah, because every time I count it up, I count either 30 or 31. But dude, I might have to add Rocky to the list. We'll see. But this is my list, man. I'm unashamed of anything on this list, dude. I stand by.
You got
all
a good
of
mix
movies.
of classics, good mix of technically sound movies,
just
good
dumb
movies that
fucking
actually
movies,
have
yeah.
like proper, not proper screenplays. I shouldn't say that. Just like really well thought out screenplays. But then you got your like personal favorites.
I got my clunkers. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
Which like
if I made a list, that's literally what it would be. It would be like indie
I feel
movies
like,
nobody's ever heard of.
Well, but not indie movies that nobody's ever heard of for the sake of having indie, which is again.
No, there's movies that just hit different for you when you watch them, and maybe nobody's watched them before. Like
there's some movies you love because they're technically sound. There's some movies you love because they're just dopey movies that you fucking feel nostalgic about.
Yeah.
They're just because you watch them at the right specific time.
Absolutely.
So all these movies are fucking precious to me. And I think I got a good for me as a person. I feel like this is a good snapshot for who I am.
I think
as
it
a
describes
person.
you really well.
Yeah.
See, I would have not guessed Raging Bull because you don't, as far as I'm aware, haven't
No,
really talked about it, at least with me. That's why I thought
Eternal Sunshine, because I talk about that a lot. Yeah, I think because I look at movies like Eternal Sunshine, it's just a weirdly told movie and a weird premise that I feel like I gravitate.
So well.
It's done incredibly. Jim Carrey's at the peak of I think what I believe to be is acting prowess. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I'll take a mask. I'll take fucking Ace Ventura, but fucking this shit with Eternal Sunshine, that's amazing what he's doing there. But I feel like I choose those movies like in terms of like because I like thinking weirdly sometimes, so I gravitate towards that end of the spectrum. But Raging Bull is just this like. No pun intended, but it really is just like this raging fucking bull of a movie in terms of the emotional impact that it fucking hits you with. It's just it's like a fucking tank, and I just watched at the exact right time where I was just like, I felt everything that I just watched, So, anyways, let's get the fuck out of here, dude. It's been almost 3 hours, man. Let's call it a fucking night. This is a good one, man.
Hot as balls. I'm sweating.
Yeah, dude. I'm sorry. I got to figure out an effective sort of strategy here. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you listening to us, rocking with us. If you listen to this somehow from beginning to end, then God bless your soul.
Of course you did.
With that being said, we're going to get it back at you. I don't know if we're going to be back next Monday. It's a possibility. Maybe not. We'll see how the week goes. Yeah, we'll see, man. I'm going to be out. I'm going to be down in Florida. But I'm thinking maybe I'll bring some equipment with me. Maybe we'll keep things rolling like this. We'll see. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I think indeed we will hit the very usual fucking protocol. Peace out, ladies and gentlemen.